Good Sunday evening, friends. Welcome in, welcome in. My name is Salty Sleuth, and I'm coming to you live from the coast of somewhere beautiful. It's hot as hell, though, with barely a breeze and humidity's cranking, but I'll take it over winter any day and twice on Sunday. Y'all, welcome in. Y'all, come on in, have a seat. We're going to get into our ongoing coverage here, these two cases we're covering, getting ready for tomorrow's trial to start. So welcome on in, and I want to talk to y'all about a little something I saw today that's a little concerning. So let's let some people trickle on in. For those of you who are joining, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps get the little shows into the algorithm, and we're a little baby channel over here plugging away, trying to true crime. So that helps us get into the algorithm, helps get us these stories into the algorithm. So maybe people can see that not everybody tells the story in the same way. We're not all like Lauren Matthias. I'm going to go in hard on that today a little bit, just a little bit, girlfriend. Tiny bit. Don't worry. We won't be too aggressive. We don't want to appear as a unhinged, unhealed woman on the internet coming at you now, would we? All right, I'm doing the best I can. So you can hear me good? Okay. Thank you, Butterfly. It's good to see you. The coast misses you, Butterfly. We need a little butterfly flying around the coast. I would follow you in a heartbeat. I'm like, oh, look, a butterfly. Let's follow it. See where it leads. Let's just take a chance today. The coast is a little crowded right now. We are a little bit crowded. People are flocking down here by the droves as usual to hit that Gulf. And I can't say as I blame them, right? Come on down. The water's fine. I hear tell we got sharks occasionally. Somebody killed one of our damn alligators for no reason. I'm sorry, no reason. But I beg, no, I don't beg. I ask our local media, who's not so great at investigating, to investigate why that landowner called the bunk ass alligator trapper guy. Could you ask that question? Asking for a friend? Asking for myself. Y'all, this alligator has lived in a retention pond here in this town forever, ever, 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 ever. The people in the neighborhood all know it's there. It's in a gated pond. She never bothers anybody. The homeowner decided, I guess he didn't like it anymore, called what he thought was a couple of reputable trappers, whatever. They went and took that gator, they baited her, they caught her, took her out of that pond and back to their damn house and killed her with a drill saw. What that gator ever did to y'all? Damn it, man. We live peacefully with our gators here in Florida. We're not stupid. Well, most people aren't. Okay, enough of that. I had to rant about the alligator killers. Jesus Christ. If Florida ain't worried about the gators, none of y'all should be worried about our gators. Don't go near where they're at and live, and you should be okay. They don't they don't usually frolic in the Gulf, but the occasional one's been known. Also, you may see the occasional black bear. They like to take a little swim every now and then too. All right, y'all be safe down here when you come now. We got rip currents and shit going on. Storm could be passing by, cranking up the little Gulf churn out there. Y'all be safe this summer. I heard there was a drowning down in Panama City, and that's literally the first one I've heard of this year, and that is a miracle. It is the only one I've heard of this year. So condolences to them and the family. All right, guys. I held my live stream last night where I feel like we might have took Megan and Joe to church a little bit, right? Or they took us to their church and how devastating their church was to them and all the things. If y'all watched it, you know. If you didn't, check it out on the replay and give it a thumbs up and shoot that little bitch right out into the algorithm. Now, after we did that last night and unpacked the trauma of the Mormonism of it all, I'm preparing for today's show, getting all my ducks in a row, right? Facts, not fiction. If y'all hear if my dogs are being loud in the background, let me know in the chat. She's so loud. She's playing with the puppy, and it sounds like you're killing each other. But they're not. They're just playing. So anyway, I'm going to be delicate, Lauren, because I don't want to come across as an unhinged, unhealed woman on the internet coming after you and Grayson. After all, she's a child, right? You know what? What I was doing when I was her age? Raising babies. Raising babies. Contemplating the end of the world one day, maybe. No, I was raising babies, taking care of the house, the dog, all the things. So I don't know what Grayson. All right, so what had happened was Penny inspired my stream last night, right? Penny pulled a muscle, wasn't feeling well, so she had to cancel her live. I was like, okay, I was going to sit and chill in the chat. So let me go do this then. So we went live. Then today, Jay goes live, and Jay has a Patreon recording of Lauren Matthias and Grayson and husband John. And I'll tell you what, the psychology behind that alone is a whole ass show in itself that I am ready and willing to take on, Lauren, Grayson, since y'all wanted to make sure that people were capturing it to talk about it, right? Right. Well, I do got a question. Why y'all put it on Patreon if you want people to talk about it? Because you don't got to pay for YouTube unless you want to. Anyway, that grift thing is so old. I'm fucking tired of talking about the grift. No, the bitch has got a fucking psychological plan going on up there in that head of hers. As usual, par for the course. So apparently, though, Lauren, if you're watching, I doubt you watch this baby channel. I didn't bait you with my thumbnail. Although I am conducting a social experiment. I said that in my live stream last night. And y'all go look at my thumbnail from last night. What does it say? Maybe it was subliminal messaging. Maybe. Then a commenter who did not want to watch the live stream had a comment on the thumbnail. And I played along for a minute. Then I went back in and said, yeah, if you would have watched the live, you'd have seen I was conducting a social experiment. He comes back, well, you did say you were salty and you own it. Yeah, I did. I sure did. You got that raw audio, Andy, from that today? That's the one you were, oh, girl. That's what you, oh, now, Andy. Yeah, let's do it. I'm just going to play a piece of Jay's. In fact, one of my mods, please drop Jay's link. I'm sure a lot of you have it. But go watch the video later. After we're done here, go give Jay a view and check that shit out. Because right now, Lauren Matthias and Dr. John, it appears you have a very unstable young woman on your hands. And that is not an unhealed woman coming at you, Lauren. I'm a very healed woman trying to talk to you woman to woman. What on earth are you actually doing to your entire community and to that young woman? I already know she was a drama queen when she came from Annie Elise and found her way to you at Delphi. That is, if y'all don't think that's obvious for what happened in Delphi, are y'all paying attention? Little drama queen? But now it seems like you're having a full-on meltdown. And why are people doing 9 to 11 hours live and then daring anybody to review it, or I'm going to strike you? Some of you women really should take a step back. And not just you, Lauren. Hold on, got to close the door. This dog is getting on my nerves and she's distracting me. I'm trying to focus. I don't want to be unhinged. Okay. I'm back. The door is just right there, Lauren, in case you needed to know my details of my studio you cannot see. / bedroom. All right. So when Jay reviewed this morning, like I said, it was their Patreon live. Everybody's like, what's going on here? What is their end game here? You know what it sounded like to me? It sounded like 3 people who decided, you know what? These conversations we have every single day around this stupid table about those women on the internet, we should do it on Patreon. And I've heard you and John do that before, Grayson. At one time, I don't know where Lauren actually was, but you and John had a real long conversation all by your little selves. And you unpacked a lot of your trauma there, Grayson. I knew right then, oh, girl, you need help. And Dr. John, you're not providing it. Well, we don't think you could anyway, but you're not providing anything. In fact, y'all, I cover true crime here. I read a whole hell of a lot of documents. We cover very sensitive topics. We try to do our best to protect victims. And when it gets too gory and graphic, we choose not to read through it. Because we don't need that. We already kind of understand here what it was bad, right? I have had to sit through and read what happened to victims in documents, but you know what? I wasn't the victim who had to suffer through what was done to them. But we can help, so Lauren needs to step away from true crime, and so does Grayson. Because now Lauren is having a whole entire fit because she's lost her religion. Grayson no longer wants children, and her dog no longer brings her joy because they've seen so much carnage and true crime and unhinged women on the internet who are not healed coming at them. And they simply are overwhelmed and cannot take it. They unloaded all that onto their chat, weaponizing the community. That's what you call it. I'm sorry. I'm doing a psychological analysis, Dr. John. Dr. Gary, you listening? You're not far behind, are you? Y'all want to crack open a textbook and analyze me because not even the motherfucking therapist could do that. She asked me to therapy her. I know what's out there. Seen it with my own eyes. Sat across the desk from that, whatever that is. Huh. All right. Let me just give y'all a little snippet of what went on over there. I don't want to play all of it. It can be... Trisha's comical to watch. Lauren is a fucking train wreck. A lot of this I didn't find funny. I found it quite disturbing, actually. But I like to laugh, so I enjoy the laughter. Don't get me wrong. But when you peel back all of that and you really listen to what I listen to, you should become very concerned. In fact, I may be emailing over there and checking in on Grace and honey, you okay? This unhinged, unhealed woman's a little concerned. Megan said I should be concerned about other women's trauma. And you don't seem to be okay, ma'am. Which I've known that for a long time, but I'm not going to blame that on Lauren and John. You wanted the woo-woo. You chased it in Delphi. You got the woo-woo. And you and Lauren are a match made in motherfucking heaven. And quite dangerous together. So y'all go on and keep talking about all these other women out here and how we are the ones unhinged and unhealed because your colors are shining through. In fact, y'all just told everybody how damaged you really are. Didn't you? I didn't do it. You did it yourselves. So now anybody covering true crime and you sick bastards reading those documents, we don't all read them and react the way these two heifers have done. We don't. Well, I don't.
And dealing with the
Uh-oh. What happened?
podcast.
Jay and her silly laugh. Oh, my God.
He got closer to the mic. Get ready for it. I thought that was what it was done to Lori. Ours all have, but like all their brain chemistries have changed because fucking weirdos.
Yeah, Grayson said her brain chemistry has changed, y'all. The Sam Bateman case, these other cases they follow, these sick people, and we can never forget Lori Vallow and all the things, right? It's done warped their fucking minds. They don't know how to turn it off at the end of the stream and go outside and sit and touch earth and listen to the birds sing and watch the sky and go, oh, it's pretty. They don't know how to do that. Grayson, when's the last time you enjoyed a beautiful sunset like I do every single day in my backyard? Coming across that field out there. The hand of God has touched the sky and I'm peaceful. I love a good sunset, girl. You can find your peace there.
Dealing with criminals and dealing with the dark side of human beings.
Oh my God, the dark side again. No, I think they said it was Grayson's fault.
Andy, I don't know. I'm planning to start an hour behind the trial. That way, because it's scheduled to start at 8 a.m. in the morning, and like my mods are 2 hours behind me. You know what I mean? And that's so. Anyway, I was going to go at 9 Central, which would be 10 Eastern. I think that's what I'm doing. So I really don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna deep dive that shit because there's a lot there that ain't right, and it goes beyond. They're trying to gain some empathy here for a click and a view. Can we stop that? Right? That bitch already got the money game figured out. She's not trying to get more money. She's trying to get her reputation back, man. Those rooms still don't want her in them. Y'all, Lauren cares about Lauren. I belong in those rooms, remember? They no longer want me. I'm shunned. Those damn unhinged women on the internet.
All the time. I think I've come to realize that there can be something really nihilistic. And when I say nihilistic, I mean like nihilism is essentially the belief that nothing matters and that human beings are horrible, and human beings, like in general, human beings really it's a lack of values.
Hey, thanks for subbing up, Hippie Girl.
Nihilism is essentially the position.
At one point, Grayson, let's just do this. Y'all go watch that show. At one point, Grayson says, she said a lot. That poor girl. My God. Now she's got no friends and she's isolated from her family. She's afraid to talk to people because she's afraid of stuff getting out. She even said people have offered to sign NDAs for her to make her, more comfortable to share with them. Who the fuck is asking that girl to? Well, if you just talk to me and open up, Grayson, I'll sign an NDA. Why would you need to do? Why are we having to sign an NDA to have a talk with a friend? You're on there talking to Lauren about all of it. And Grayson goes into how she used to want several kids and all the things, and now she don't even think she wants a child because of the ways of this world. And what did Lauren say exactly? She's having not a crisis. She's got a religious identity thing happening. Is God real kind of thing? That like she's labeled it and everything right now. And John is trying to help guide her and Lauren and Grayson through their feelings and navigate why they feel life is not worth living anymore because of all this crime. Is it really the crime that's got to you or the unhinged women on the internet? I don't know. It makes me so mad, Andy. And John's not sitting there offering that girl any kind of real help. None whatsoever falling out that man's mouth. He didn't even crack open a book and try to figure it out that time. He's just going to, yes, and going back to your dog. And, now the dog doesn't even comfort her anymore, her little emotional support dog. I think the emotional support dog could use an emotional support pal at this point. He's probably heard a motherfucking enough. And no, I'm not going to worry about where Lauren's child was during that whole thing. I'm not going after people's kids. I'm not doing all that crazy shit. He was probably with a nanny, y'all. Let's be realistic. Unless he was sitting in the bedroom with a device, right? Let's be realistic. I don't need to throw in the extra for that. It's bad enough. These three want to sit around and have a conversation around a raggedy ass table about why the internet is so mean and bullies and how this crime is just devastating. And reading reading these documents about what Sam did to these victims is just so much. I want to unalive myself. Is pretty much what Grayson said. She had done went through and thought about it all and was making and writing it in paper who could care for Lily, her dog. And John says, "We love Lily." Even though she pees when she gets excited, Lauren says. John says, "It doesn't matter. We still love her anyway." I guess they're willing to take Lily for her if the time ever comes for her to act upon her thoughts of self-harm. John, you're doing an absolutely disgusting job over there, and anybody who still listens to a motherfucking thing you say are the unhinged people on the internet. Lauren, your cult of people, and I'm going to call you a cult right now, ma'am, because we deep dove that Mormon stuff last night a little bit with your pals, Joe and Megan, the ex-Mormons who were traumatized by their entire childhood and upbringing. You were too, Lauren. You've talked about it openly. I didn't miss it at all. And I learned that months ago about you. So a lot of times you're not worth my fucking breath because I already know I'm playing with an unhinged lady. But what y'all are allowing to happen to that little young girl that y'all want to baby like a child is absolutely disgusting. What else y'all doing with her? We're just asking questions like Karen McDonough. We just ask questions. That's all. Lauren, she's a respectable journalist, that Karen McDonough, and she says all we're doing is asking questions. She's like a legitimate journalist, Lauren, according to her credentials and her husband and Sheriff Nanos. She also may be putting songs out in a little video on somebody else's channel. I don't know. I was a little confused, but it was a cute song. Now I'm getting sidetracked and being an asshole. Hold on, I'm getting more coffee. That helps. That helps. Okay, here we go. I don't want to make my show about Lauren tonight. I really don't, because I got true crime to cover. A very critical case is happening this week that we are all trying to understand. So we're going to try to get to that. Now, we all know that David's preliminary hearing has been happening. And man, there's been a lot coming out during that preliminary hearing, right? I feel like it's been so long since we've had a preliminary hearing in any case. They want to shut that shit down and squash it and go straight to grand jury indictments, right? Well, we don't get a camera for this preliminary hearing, and I doubt we get a camera for trial. So I doubt we're going to do a whole ton of coverage because YouTube is picky about the sensitive topic over here in the true crime world. They should, whatever. I don't know how to tell them to fix that. I don't care. So we're just going to do a run through because they're still doing David's preliminary hearing, guys. They're not finished. Those attorneys are still going at it hard and heavy. I don't know if they met up at the bar that night and exchanged looks across the room. Did they go to the quiet woman after the hearings and be like, "I see you, bitch"? She's like, "I see you. I'll see you in court tomorrow, heifer. Okay, checkmate, honey. Bring it. Bring your A game." What the hell, ladies? Stop it. Y'all are tripping me out. They're tripping me out, man. It's not about you two women. It's about a young victim, a child named Celeste Rivas Hernandez, lured from the internet by a young man, groomed by this man, assaulted by this man, murdered and dismembered by this man. Okay, let's fix it for them. Oops, 1 second. Now, I've got visuals for Lindsay's trial up preloaded back here. I just didn't do all that for David's yet. That's a lot. I don't got a producer, y'all. Give me grace. My God. Okay. Now, if this was trial for David, it would be a whole different game. We know that they have found that David purchased all the items, right, through aliases, but he uses actual accounts to pay for those items. So all of that's come into court now. We know there have been text messages that have been brought in verifying that Celeste was pregnant at the age of 13. The child was, I don't know if I can say that word on the internet or not. Y'all know what it was taken care of. That's still a icky way to put it, but terminated. The pregnancy was terminated. My God, I don't know how to say it. All right, YouTube, be patient with me. Okay, so they terminated the pregnancy, and she continued to tell him in an argument they had on the text, I unalived our first child for you, right? And then they go in to talk about in their future having children together, talking about the morning after pill and things of that nature. So all that is in his text. He did everything he thought right, but he forgot to reset his phone like Stefan Stearns. Did you feel that, Stefan? Anyway, he forgot to do that. It wouldn't have mattered, we know that. So they were able to recover that evidence on his phone. They have GPS tracking from the Tesla remember when Steve Fisher put it out there that Tesla had been to, what was it, Santa Barbara? That's where they found Celeste's passport, was out there in Santa Barbara. So there's a lot of circumstantial stuff stacking up on Mr. David D4VD over here. He also has Celeste tattooed on his finger. We know she had the David tattooed on her finger. They haven't found her finger. It's wild. This guy sounds like he was sick in the head for a long time. No excuse. You're not getting off with the sick in the head excuse here, sir. But we know people who do this shit are sick in the head to some extent. Come on, we can't be like, oh no, they're just lost their shit today. No, there already some sickness going on up there. Level 1, 2, or 3 sickness. Level 1, don't get free passes. Level 2, 3, let's evaluate what we got here. That's what I'm going to do that from now on. What kind of are you? Level 1, 2, or 3? Because it matters. David, he spells his name D4VD. D4VD. I don't have my visual up of it, how he spells his name. Yeah, he's David with D4VD. That's who he is. Now, he met her online, right, in their gaming community. And by the time she was 13, well, was she 11? By the time she was 13, she was meeting with him face to face and starting this, all of this. I'm not going to call that a relationship. In her mind, it was, right? In her little mind, it was. Yeah, Andy, he a little hip hop dude. You got to get that 4 and the V and the D, He hip hopped, guys. D4VD it is. Got to be cool out here on the mean streets in LA. So we also know that he lied about her age to multiple people. He got her the passport and took her to London or Europe with him on his little tour, his little baby tour. People want to call this guy a success. I'm sorry, y'all. In this industry, he was just starting out. $8 to $10 million in revenue in a European tour. You ain't made it yet. That barely pays the bills out in Cali. Come on. Right? He was just getting started, which means a lot because he was starting to get started and get the music out there and earning some revenue and buying the cars and the houses. He got a little bit going on there. Celeste was getting in the way. That little girl who wanted way more from this guy than he was willing to give her because she's a minor. She wanted to be on his arm, flying around the world, jet setting off to concerts. She wants to be on his arm when he enters the arena in LA out there when they go to give out the awards. He's not having none of that. She's a child. She threatens him to go public with the relationship. That's what set off this chain of events. Then he lures her. She goes back home finally. He lures her from her house. I don't know if he lured her, but he agreed for her to come to his house. Remember, he gets the Uber, sends it to her home 90 miles away, was it? Picks her up, brings her back to the mansion. And according to the court documents, we read them here, he lay in wait for her. And she was stabbed in the abdomen when she came into that house. And then he orders the blue pool. He orders the burn incinerator. Can't decide what he wants to do, how to do this, what's going on here. I got to do something. He ends up deciding to put her into the blue pool and use a chainsaw on her. And remember, the blue fragments got into the bone, and then when the new document came out, some of those fragments were also in the body bag that he had her in that matched back to the pool. So all of that, right? Celeste's blood in the house. The incinerator never got used. He changed his mind and went the alternate route, and then, put her into the Tesla. So there's just a lot in that damn preliminary hearing, guys. And I don't know what's left to come on this last day tomorrow. Now, because there's a lot of sensitive stuff being talked about in that case, I will recommend go watch Brian Enton's last video. He's got a video for each day because he was in the courtroom. Gigi, Pretty Lies and Alibis, she dropped one. I don't know if it was last night or this morning. I reviewed some of that when I was eating earlier, and she was trying to go over all of this delicately. And like Brian Enton said, there's no real way to delicately go around some of this stuff. He had a hard time, but he read it too, because it's important to understand all of it, right? Because if you don't know what it actually says or what's going on, you can assume things, right? And we try to know the facts based around everything. So it's a very sensitive case and a sensitive topic. But I would recommend checking out those videos for sure. And I'm interested to see how they go with this Sheldon character that was brought into the evidence, because Sheldon allegedly lived in that house and like a security guy for David and would drive him and Celeste around. But he didn't testify yet at the prelim. He was brought up by the financial managers. So people were around them and knew. I do question if they really knew how old she was. They just suspected, because David was able to produce. To me, he had to have a fake ID. If he was able to, people want to call that girl on the internet a liar that came out and said that, David proved to her that, showed her what allegedly was proof that she was of age. David could not have obtained a passport, guys, for Celeste without a damn fake ID. What are we doing here? You can't just walk up there and say, I want one of them passports. Here's my name and my age. They're like, okay, cool. Here you go. It don't work like that. You got to have an ID. So I'm pretty sure David had a fake ID for her the entire time they were together. Anytime a friend or anybody of authority, maybe the manager, anybody asks, well, look, dude, here's her fucking ID. She just looks young. I don't know. But he had to have an ID for her to get that damn passport. Even if he had a fake passport, right? Fake ID, fake passport. We don't know. We must. The way the documents read, it was a legal passport, but you guarantee it was a fake ID to obtain it. Yeah, there's the link to Brian's last video. Thank you, Butterfly. Because it is hard for people who trouble. We don't cover this stuff because we just love the gore of it, but we have to read gore sometimes to understand why we're here. Ugh, it is what it is. We just don't do it all. We don't all do it the way Lauren does, and we don't lean into it and exaggerate it and go on and on about it and how devastating it is for these victims, and then cry the next day about our own mental health because we just had to read what happened to the victim. We're different, Lauren Matthias. We're very different women, I must say. Mm-mm-mm. This chair is making a noise. It sounds like a little bell dinging. What's happening? Oh, this little thing hanging on the back of my chair is hitting it. It's got, get off there because it's freaking me out. I got the woo woo. Stop that. Okay. That was not a normal sound for me. And I'm like, where's this woo woo coming from? We're not having it. Hybrid Pisces, welcome in. Andy, I'll have to hit you up in the morning. Let's see what, I will, yeah, because I'll be covering this trial. I don't know what time it wraps up tomorrow either. I don't know how long their days are actually going to be in this courtroom. God, I hope it's not reminiscence of Karen Reed. Fuck, I got the PTSD from that shit. This might be the last trial we cover. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. This may be too much. It's going to be a heavy trial, and I really wanted to watch the Clancy trial because of the implications, right, and all the legal stuff that we may learn that change and whatever. I don't really know how to unpack that case. I have questions, right? I got a lot of questions still about the Lindsay Clancy case. I like that I don't know too much going in, but I know enough. And we're going to read through that civil document, though. I'm still not going to let it make up my mind until I get to trial and hear all the evidence out. I'm going to roll that way through this whole thing. I am 100% 50-50 until time for us to deliberate at the end of all this. Now, of course, we're going to share our thoughts and opinions along the way. Now, guys, I do have this before we get into that document, because we've read the charging document and everything here. I do got the playlist. We have that in the playlist. This show is going into the playlist. We did a primer part 1. This is like primer part 2, I guess. And got a timeline here for you guys. Y'all can screenshot it, whatever you need to do for your notes or whatever, if you're into that kind of thing. So we'll start here. This is like a history on Lindsay, right, of what leading up to everything, because she's been struggling with mental health for quite some time. It didn't just start yesterday, right? She didn't get just diagnosed. So going back to September 22nd, heightened anxiety regarding returning to work. That's what Lindsay was experiencing. October 22nd through January 20 of 23, her mental health worsened. So over a few months period there, October, November, December, January, a 4-month period, she is worsening versus getting better. So she goes in September, she's having some anxiety. For the next 4 months, she gets worse. Her symptoms include depression, insomnia, auditory hallucinations. Treatment. Over a 4-month period, 13 different psychiatric medications were given, including Zoloft, Prozac, Ambien, Klonopin, and Valium. December 22nd, she tells her husband she's having intrusive thoughts about harming herself and the children. Guys, if this topic is extremely heavy for you and it's a little triggering, step away. Please. Please step away and take care of yourself. Not every case is for everybody to be listening in on, right? And we understand if you need to not be a part of it. We do understand. I'd rather y'all protect your mental health above all else. December 22nd, she tells her husband she's having the intrusive thoughts and wants to harm the children. December of 2022. January 1 through 5 of 2023, she voluntarily admits herself into the hospital. January 24th, 2023, shortly after her 5-day hospitalization. Lindsay takes the 5-year-old daughter to a pediatric appointment. She returns home and spends day with the kids. They played in the snow and built a snowman. At 4:02 p.m., Lindsay searched children's medication from her phone. What is that doing in there? Look, that little 515 stuck right there. I don't know what the hell. Sorry, guys. Um, the YouTube Nazis will come at me in a minute for that. 4:13 p.m. Search takeout from the 3V restaurant and checked drive-to time on the map. At 4:47 p.m., she visits the CVS website, and then she calls CVS, and I forgot to space Nazi people, and spoke with the manager. So she took her daughter to the doctor that morning, guys. And maybe she had an upset stomach issue or whatever, because Lindsay later searches the CVS and the medication, and it's for upset stomach for children, and that's what she's wanting him to go to CVS to get for her daughter. So at 4:47, she searches the CVS website, and then she calls and speaks to the manager. She was verifying that he had the medication in stock. So at 4:53 p.m., she texts her husband and asks if he wanted takeout. She hadn't cooked, and it was getting late, and all the things you want takeout, right? So that was at 4:53. At 5:10, she placed that order for the takeout. At 5:15 p.m. is when Patrick actually left that house to go for the CVS and to get the takeout. Now, this is what I found interesting, and it will come up after she searched. What was it? I gotta look at my notes here. After she searches that restaurant, y'all, she searched on the map how long it would take. That's critical for the prosecution side, right? Premeditation. Just keep that in your back pocket. 5:32 p.m. CVS security captures Patrick on the children's aisle in the CVS, right? 5:37, Patrick calls Lindsay from the CVS, and then he drives to the 3V restaurant. At 5:54, he picks up the food at the restaurant. At 6:09, Patrick arrives back at home. At 6:11 is when he makes that 911 call. Remember, he goes into the house is quiet. He makes his way to the master bedroom, realizes there's blood, the window's busted out, and Lindsay's on the ground. He goes out, checks on Lindsay. She tells him the kids are in the basement. He goes in, finds all three of their babies in that basement. And he calls 911, and we all heard when we read that document that it was a lot of screaming and crying and all the things you could imagine when you find your babies in that condition. 6:14 p.m., Patrick discovered the children while on the phone with 911. Remember, he called because Lindsay tried to unalive herself. 5:15, he leaves the home. Did I have my things backwards? Hold on. Did I? Oh, I got him in there twice? I do. Okay. So, yeah. Did I? I feel like I'm missing one. Maybe I am. But that was the rundown on the timeline, guys, of leading up to the events throughout the day, right? He was at home. He has the office in the basement. By all of his accounts, the day seemed normal, right? But Lindsay was always having her anxiety issues and things of that nature going on. All right, let me get this document ready to pull up. We're going to look at this civil case a little bit that she's got here. Her husband has filed one as well. His is a 20-page document. Hers is over 700 pages. Of course, we're not reading all of those pages. Yeah, Butterfly, those text messages in David's case, I'm glad they're there. I'm glad those text messages are there. Serves him right. Gotcha, Bubba. That's our gotcha moment, David. You little sick bastard. See, we love to tear down defendants over here. But he's innocent until proven guilty. But I am leaning toward guilty based on probable cause evidence I've seen so far. After tomorrow, I may change my mind like Cyree. I don't know. Based on evidence, not feels. Maybe. Maybe, Lauren. Maybe. I should be fair. I like to be fair. We're going to be fair. Yes, please. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button and thank you. Is tomorrow the last day for the prelim? Good question, Leppy Weppy. Don't know. It was scheduled, what, 3 to 5 days. So we are on day 3 as of Friday. So I think they have at least enough time set aside for court to last till Tuesday. Whether or not, well, these two attorneys, it will probably last till Tuesday. I think they are enjoying going at each other. I think they get a rise out of it. The judge said they got a history of dancing in the courtroom together. Let's get it on. But I do like a spunky attorney because I'll get bored and fall asleep during the trial. I'm like, oh my God, please do not bore me to death, you uneventful attorney. Drive that shit home, man. Be an Alan Jackson in that courtroom. Wake me up and get my attention. We're here for it. Just don't do the victims wrong in the process, okay? Don't get the court case thrown because you showed your royal ass. We're not doing that either. We're grown. Act right. Get your act right together. Me and my sister say, where's your act right? You better find your act right real quick. All right, yes, I am from the South, y'all. It comes out in me every now and again. Where's my file? Oh, if I would do it correctly. The damn producer ran off and left me. All right, here we go. Now, we've already read through the search warrant PDF in the first primer show we did. You guys can go back and review that in the playlist if you want to do that ahead of tomorrow's opening statements. Right now, I have Long Crime linked up to carry us through. If they have sucky audio, we'll go find Court TV. I think East Idaho News is also covering. Routers will probably cover, so we'll have a couple of options and we'll pick out who's got the best of the audio. In fact, because we're starting late, I can test it before I ever go live, because I don't want to struggle to hear and all that stuff. All right, let's see what's going on here. That's what I was thinking, Andy. Around 4, wasn't it, when they was wrapping up Reed at the end of every day? I think Lori Vallow's the one that went longer in the day because she's over there in Arizona. Because them trials were like back to each other, right? And I was doing both. So I felt like it was around 4 o'clock. Yeah, Butterfly, he used the aliases, but then he paid for it with his real stuff, though. Like, idiot. Like, we're grateful for dumb criminals leaving those breadcrumbs everywhere, right? That bits of evidence all over the place. When they think they're so cool, they're going to get away with stuff. We're like, not so fast, sir. We got evidence. You've left a ton of evidence behind. Thank God half of y'all are blooming ass idiots. Even those ones like Koberger who know to use a forensic data wiping tool couldn't wipe it all away, but he got damn close. I got to give that boy some credit for that one. You even got Heather Bernhardt stumped. She's dying to find out what you did. Like, she really wants to know how you pulled that off because it helps her in the future at Celebrate. Brian Koberger, work out a deal, dude. Go talk to somebody. We want to know what secrets you harbor because we're sick in the head. Justice for Lily. Lily has heard enough, Andy. She's had it. And I think Lily needs a companion puppy because I feel bad for Lily. Lily can come play in my yard with my dogs. They'll accept her. They're a loving little bunch. I don't know what kind of dog is Lily. Is she one of them foo-foo dogs? I think I saw her once in the background. It depends on the dog, actually. But yeah, poor Lily. Can you imagine all those long tearful talks Grayson has unloaded on that poor dog in the dead of night when she's scrolling social media like Trisha and sitting up going, I can't believe this thumbnail. Damn it, Grayson. Look, Andy, the dog needs to be rehomed. A lot of things need to be looked into around there. She's a lot of things. The people who watch her need to be rehomed. Bless their hearts at this point. Lost souls. Sitting there on that Patreon, I wonder how many people saw that and cried right along with them. Because they are also victims to unhinged, unhealed women out there stealing their men and shit and talking at them instead of to them. I could hear it now. Megan's got a whole bunch of labels in a bucket. She makes them herself with a label maker. I think she'll give you a label to put on your forehead. You'll be good to go. And she'll help you unpack how you got there and how you get away from it all. Lauren, you might want to give Grayson Megan's number. It sounds like she could use some help and guidance. Y'all are even questioning your religion the same way Joe and Megan like to do. Check out my show from last night, Lauren. You might get a little insight into what's going on inside your head right now. All right, enough of her ass. Maybe. Maybe I'll just start doing her like the Stefan Stearns and the Brian Kobergers. And every time I say the name, say the name, say the name, something may happen. No, I'm putting the woo-woo out there. I better stop it. I don't do the woo-woo. Maybe. Anyway. I feel like I need fresh coffee now. I feel like I need to cleanse my soul. I need to cleanse myself. Let it rain. All right. When the rain comes, we'll know. Yeah, Jen knew. Turn that blind eye, never get her anywhere. She knew it. That girl, we've unpacked that lady over here so much. I still can't find her in Florida. It's not for lack of trying. But anyway, not that I want to stalk her and question her. I just want to know, Jen, what's up, girl? Jen, are you okay? Are you overcome to all that blinders you had on for all those years while your daughter was being harmed before your very eyes? Maybe, maybe not. Oh, that's right. She was always asleep, y'all. She's another one. She had a lot of mental health issues. Her medication required sleep and food, and Stefan was more than happy to oblige. That is why we covered those cases and read those documents. So when a woman watching might get a red flag and go, fuck, shit. He does tell me to go take a nap all the time. He'll watch my baby. Don't worry about her. Maybe. When we talk about these cases, it might trigger a red flag, somebody who's watching. You never know. There's a lot of people out there walking that gate like she has to walk. Can you live with yourself? There's a lot of things when hindsight 2020 and all that, Jen's a whole different level, right? But a lot of families carry a burden of what ifs when something happens, right? Can you imagine the load that woman's trying to carry in her head? No, thank you. It's to her, it was no big deal. It was all that weird guy shit. What was his name? What was that weird guy's name, y'all? God, I could see his face. I almost said Gene Simmons. Sorry, Gene. You're a whole different kind of weird. Sorry. Single parents are definitely a target. Jen Soto was targeted, and Jen Soto was the perfect victim because she fed her child up on a silver platter. When you go review her ex-husband before Stefan, he says the same thing. Jen was overwhelmed, couldn't take care of these little girls. The baths and the dinner was too much. She needed to go lie down. He needed to come home from work and school and help her take care of those little girls. One was hers and one was his. But she needed him to come home from work and school to help her take care of those two little girls because she needed to go rest. That's you, Jen Soto. You're not the only one out there, are you? So I don't know if you'll see the red flags or not. But you women who are not like that and you love your children and you're attentive, but you might notice something funky is amiss, believe it. Being partnered up ain't all it's cracked up to be, no matter what society wants to feed you. Okay, let's get to this document. This is the complaint, the jury demand in the introduction. This is, again, the civil case, guys, that Lindsay has filed against the health care providers in her treatment plan, right? Her husband has also filed a separate suit for the same reason. So this is totally separate from her murder trial that's about to start. This will give us a backstory and insight as to what was going on there, maybe, and what these problems were, right? Always to get good sleep, Butterfly. We got to quote her correctly, right? She needs that good sleep. And he might have been guilty of molesting my daughter, but I didn't think he murdered her. Y'all showed me that he did. I didn't recognize his junk because I didn't see it very often. That's Jen Soto talking, in my opinion. Didn't recognize his junk, bitch. I saw that junk accidentally in the dump, in the photo dump. There it was. I was like, oh my god, my eyes. So I owed Stefan one, and I made a little voodoo Stefan doll. And when I say his name, something happens at the prison. Huh, Stefan? He'll stump his toe. He'll smash his finger. Bubba will come up behind him. You know, it's a woo-woo thing. And I got no control over what the woo-woo is. I can just send it. I'm sending the woo-woo, Trisha. Cover up your drinks. That's right. Kids ain't kids for long. We can shout that all day long, right? You blink your fucking eye and they are grown with babies of their own. And that is no shit. Love them while you can. They are the gifts from God. They come before everybody, including that person you lay down with at night. They should. All right. This is an action for personal injury and loss of consortium brought by Lindsay M. Clancy. Lindsay is the plaintiff. This action arises from the catastrophic failure of multiple. Look, Alan Jackson, it ain't even taken a trust fund to get this into trial. Just saying. This action arises from the catastrophic failure of multiple medical providers to properly diagnose, treat, and monitor Lindsay's severe postpartum psychiatric condition, despite her repeated, desperate pleas for help and her family's persistent efforts to obtain adequate care. Lindsay Clancy did everything a mother in her situation could do. She recognized something was wrong with her. She sought medical treatment. She went to emergency rooms. She called crisis hotlines. She admitted herself to hospitals. She took the medications prescribed to her. She communicated her worsening symptoms to her providers. She told them medications were making her worse. Her husband advocated for her. Her family drove from out of state to help care for the children. And still, the medical system failed her completely. For those of you just joining, I am reading a court document, not my opinion. The defendant, Jennifer Tufts, Rebecca Gilletta, Nurse Gilletta, known as, from Astor Mental Health Incorporated, South Shore Health System Incorporated, McLean Hospital, and Women and Infants Hospital of Rhode Island. Each failed to properly diagnose Lindsay's bipolar disorder with postpartum onset and instead subjected her to a disorganized, uncoordinated course of polypharmacy and exacerbated her condition and precipitated a severe psychotic break. Now, Dr. John, are you this type of doctor? Asking for Grayson at this point, after what I heard today with my own ears. See why calling out doctors like John are important, to understand the level of danger they actually are? When are we going to recognize there are so many Dr. Johns out there? I'm not hyper focused on just one, because I've always known that one was a fluke. Always. Even back when he didn't like to appear on camera, because Lauren said that he was always too self-conscious to appear on camera often. Yeah, back then I knew what was up. Lindsay's clinical course was significantly complicated by polypharmacy and the involvement of multiple prescribers, which in effect obscured an accurate diagnosis and inappropriate an appropriate intervention and treatment, even though Lindsay did all that she could to obtain the appropriate treatment. Ow, my neck just cracked. I don't know that they're all, no, I don't think they're all private. I mean, I don't know. I don't live there, right? I haven't deep dove these. We'll find out in these documents, maybe. I don't know. These are the local hospitals and clinics that I'm pretty sure everybody would go to. But my experience, private or public facilities, you got the same problem. The tragedy followed. The psychotropic medications Lindsay received appear to have paradoxically exacerbated her underlying psychiatric vulnerability, precipitating a state of manic psychosis characterized by compelling command hallucinations. The tragedy that followed was the direct and proximate result of the defendant's collective negligence in failing to recognize obvious warning signs, coordinate care, properly diagnose Lindsay's condition, and provide treatment that met the applicable standard of care. As a direct result of the defendant's negligence, Lindsay suffered catastrophic physical injuries, including permanent paralysis, and she lost her 3 beloved children, Cora Marie Clancy, Dawson William Clancy, and Callan Patrick Clancy. Lindsay now faces a lifetime of physical disability, psychological trauma, and the unbearable grief of waking up every day knowing she killed her children, all of which could have been prevented had defendants provided competent medical care. This is the first time this type of defense has been brought forward in a case where a mother has unalived her children. Are we going to visit it with an open mind? To try to understand why these mothers, some of them, will do what they do? We're not talking about the Susan Smiths and Lori Vallows here. No. Andrea Yates, maybe. Lindsay Clancy, yes. How many more of them are out there suffering in the same capacity? Exactly, hybrid. When you see it, right? That was my point right there. The fact that she was trying to do something. versus ignoring it, not telling anybody, just living in all that madness in her head, right? She was actively pursuing the help. She recognized something was wrong. We've been told for 30 years mental health is the problem in this country. No matter what happens, well, the root cause is mental health. Well, what are we doing about mental health? Nothing? Oh, that's right. We just talk about, we point fingers in this government and then do nothing about it. Let's get the people off our ass for a minute and blame something else, and then they'll forget about it and we won't got to fix it either. But we can blame it all day long, and twice on Sunday it's mental health. Y'all know that. It's not the weapon, it's the mental health. It's well, let's fix mental health. Let's examine it. What happened here? If this lady was actively reaching out for help, what the hell happened? If she's telling them, I'm having these intrusive thoughts and want to harm my children, they thought it was a good idea to give her more meds instead and say, well, let's up the milligrams. That should do the trick. Now go home and take care of those babies like a good little mom. Pull your big curl pants up. Take what we gave you and go take care of those babies. Gates said there's ways for media to obtain those records. It's not. I've then went through all the. In fact, there's a new Sider Senior just filed another document trying to keep his medical sealed. There was, yeah. When it comes to the media getting stuff, there's, that Siders case is a hard one to unpack, and each time I cover it here, I take a hit on YouTube. They can have at it for a minute. They're sealing everything up anyway. It's so, I don't even know. Honestly, there's nothing there. I don't know what's going on with Siders. Gary Jr. and that little weird arrest he got with the incident in the yard that they're keeping so secretive. I don't know what that's about, which does concern me for what may have been happening to the children. But I don't know if we just got a house full of mental illness and people who live in filth. I don't know. Is there going to be anything more than that yet? I don't know. It was bad enough to live in that filth, right? Neglected children, living in filth versus severely physically and SA type abuse, right? I don't know how it's going to play out yet. We'll see. We'll see. Keeping an open mind on that one too. I'm not ready to say the House of Horrors was to that point yet, because I don't know. And there's a lot of speculation out there, and then people will steer you down the wrong fucking path if you follow that group. When they go right, y'all go left. And stand on the hill and watch from afar. No, what did the hospital know though, Gate? This lady is it against the law to have a lot of kids? No, it's not. Now, if they didn't see signs of her abusing the babies in the hospital, what are they going to report is my question, right? I see people blaming the hospital, but I'm going to ask why the school people can't follow up on where these kids go when they can't reach these parents trying to serve truancy documents on them. Where was that breakdown failure, right? Where was the breakdown failure in the DCF cases they were leaving counties to avoid? I want to investigate that breakdown failure, because I don't think it's on the hospital to tell a woman you need to stop having kids. They can recommend birth control. We have a hospital here locally, delivered all my babies, but I could not get myself fixed there, right? Because they're a Catholic-run hospital. We'll do everything you need, but we're not doing tubables. No, we don't do that. We're Catholic. So I had to go to the private outpatient place, right? I don't care what y'all are. I'm not having no more of these babies. We're done. 4 deep, we're done. So I can't really blame the hospital for Elizabeth continuing to have babies. I mean, you can give her birth control all day long. Is she going to take it when she gets home, right? I mean, what are they going to do? Follow her home? The baby police? I don't know. It's weird for a hospital to tell a woman, hey, you got 3 kids now, it's time to stop. That's nobody's business. There are large families out there who are successful, right? So it's dangerous to say that a hospital should step in because a woman has a bunch of kids. I don't know. That's my thought on it. I don't know. They would have to see abuse. The baby would have to be born with something in the system. The hospital just can't say, well, we got a feeling there could be something wrong. She's having a bunch of kids. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know what we want them to do. They have to see signs of abuse to report anything to start with. Now, if they suspected she was abusing the newborn, hell yeah, they're going to call. But apparently she wasn't at that moment, I don't know. They got a quick turnaround these days for women having babies. Honest to God, if you're not having a C-section, was it 24 hours? They may have put it back to 3 days now. They were like, oh shit, this may not be a good thing to get these women out of here so quickly. That was the turnaround time at one point. You go have that baby, you can be home in 24 hours. C-section, 2 to 3 days. We know you're going to need a minute. Right? Fuck. All right. This is a different thing here, though. So Lindsay's a resident of Massachusetts. All the relevant times resided in Duxbury, Massachusetts, with her husband Patrick and their 3 children. She was a registered nurse who worked in the labor and delivery department at Massachusetts General Hospital. She is the mother of Cora, Dawson, and Callahan Clancy. Defendant Tufts is a psychiatrist registered to practice medicine in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts with a usual place of business in Braintree, Norfolk County. Good God, we got some PTSD coming in hot. Y'all ground yourselves. Defendant Joletta is a CNP, certified nurse practitioner, registered to practice medicine in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts with a usual place of business in Weymouth, Norfolk County, Massachusetts. Does Massachusetts looks like anybody willy-nilly can come in and slap a label on a wall and you got this? Is that what happens out there? Defendant Astor Mental Health, Inc. is a Massachusetts professional corporation with a principal place of business at 325 Wood Road in Braintree, Norfolk County. Okay. Astor employed Dr. Tufts and is vicariously liable for her negligent acts and omissions. The defendant South Shore Hospital in Massachusetts is a non-profit corporation with a principal place of business at Fog Road in South Weymouth. So they are a non-profit corporation, the South Shore Mental Health System. South Shore employed Nurse Joletta and operated the perinatal behavioral health program through which Lindsay received treatment. South Shore was vicariously liable for the defendant McLean Hospital is a psychiatric hospital located in Belmont, Middlesex County, Massachusetts. McLean provided inpatient psychiatric to Lindsay from January 1 through 5th. So remember the hospitalization at the beginning of January that year, the 5-day stint? That was with McLean, and they are the psychiatric inpatient treatment facility. Defendant Women and Infants Hospital of Rhode Island is a hospital located in Providence. Women and Infants operated a partial hospitalization day program for patients with postpartum depression, where Lindsay sought treatment in late December of 2022. A partial hospitalization day program? You go there like during the day and receive like a therapy or something, and you go home at night? Jurisdiction and venue. This court has jurisdiction. Well, we know. Okay, let's see. We don't need to go through that part. That's just the legalities. Okay, facts. This is what we like. Y'all, I need to refill my coffee and run to the restroom. I left with my last 24 hours. My other kids were 3 days, right? It used to be, it was like 3 days for whatever, and then it went to like 24 hours. And I think they went back to 3 days now. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've had a baby or anybody had a baby in the family. Hey, Jet, welcome in. I agree with you. Yeah, comparable situations. People aren't getting the medical help. And, and I guess it would be hard to, I don't know. I don't have this walk. So if it's hard to reach out, but then you got a woman who absolutely is, she's smart. She's got a career. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She's got 3 kids. She appears that she would know, she's very aware of herself and something's wrong. And I don't know if people actually realize it one day but don't act on it to get the help, and then it becomes worse because of that. I don't know. I would hope that I would get a feeling that something's not right. I mean, I know I do. I can feel, if I feel like, because I've been there, not like this, you know what I mean? But like something's off, right? You can tell when something's just off. But I also battled thyroid disease, so everything was always off, right? But I learned to tell the difference between that being off and something else feeling off. So Lindsay was born August 11, 1990, and she was raised in Wallingford, Connecticut. In her formative years, she was characterized by consistent academic excellence, culminating in a distinguished record throughout college and a rigorous accelerated nursing program at Mass General Hospital. See? Lindsay's 9-year tenure as a labor and delivery nurse at Massachusetts General Hospital demonstrated notable professional competence and personal fulfillment. She was passionate about nursing and dedicated to her patients. Lindsay married Patrick in December 2016. They established their family home in Duxbury, Massachusetts. Lindsay and Patrick had 3 children. Again, Cora, she was born December 24th, 2017, our little Christmas Eve baby. Dawson was born September 30th, 2019. They had Callahan in May of 2022. As described by Patrick Clancy, before Lindsay became ill, she was dedicated to being a mom, even over dedicated, worked twice as hard as most. She rarely took a break to rest. Lindsay loved our children and never took her frustration out on the kids. She remained as affectionate with the kids as always. Lindsay's mother-in-law, Susan Clancy, testified in grand jury proceedings that she loved everything about Lindsay. She was fun-loving, doting wife and mother. She loved her kids, and she was nurturing mother who smiled all the time. Lindsay's sister, Allison Olga, described Lindsay as the kind of person who cares deeply for the people she loves. She shows up for the celebrations and writes handwritten notes to show her love and appreciation. She's also there in times of need and finds just the right words to provide comfort and support. Lindsay consistently conveyed profound affection for her children and her husband. She had never previously engaged in any form of physical harm towards her children. And now they're going to run through her postpartum history. Hey, Marcy, welcome in. Oh, you're welcome. We have a part 1 primer in the playlist. We read through her charging document and all that, so you can go catch that on the replay later if you like. A nurse telling you these things, she should have gotten a nurse. Yes, she should have been listened to. But the thing is, these doctors, I already know, don't know how to help. What they do know how to do is whip out that prescription pad. And when it don't work, we can up the dosage or change it to a different one and play drug cocktail for a while see how you do, but we don't know how to fix you. That's what you get when you go to a doctor as a woman in America 9 times out of 10. Bet. Right, Dr. John? You got a basket case falling apart sitting right beside you, and you want to go live on Patreon and talk a fucking about it like you're going to do something for her. She's concerned about who's going to take care of her dog when she's no longer with us. It's an ugly world in which we live in. Yeah, oh my God. I can feel that tension in my shoulder coming back. During Lindsay's first pregnancy with Cora, she experienced anxiety due to an abnormal ultrasound, finding that later resolved. So during her first pregnancy with Cora, she experienced her first bout with anxiety, I guess, due to abnormal ultrasound findings that were later resolved. All women get nervous with an abnormal ultrasound finding. God dang. She experienced some anxiety during the postpartum period, but returned to part-time work and breastfed for a year without incident. I don't know how the onset of postpartum comes on, guys, and how I think it goes deeper for different women as far as intensity and how severe it really is. Because I didn't have any postpartum depression, so I can't speak on the experience of that particularly. You know what I mean? Anybody who has can share if you're comfortable. I'm not like, don't share your personal stuff, but I share thoughts on things I've been through because it helps bring insight. But I can't offer to this one. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's like to be depressed after I have a baby, but I know it exists. I know it does. It used to be called the baby blues. There's difference between baby blues, I think, than postpartum depression, right? A lot of us want to chalk it up to that. You know, it's just the baby blues. You'll get over it. You'll be fine. Maybe she will. It's a lot to be a new mom, especially a first time mom, right? It's a lot. And then the society told a bunch of women, hey, y'all can do it all, including have all those babies, that amazing marriage and a career. And you absolutely can do it all. Come on, girl. Pressure much, society? You selling a fake line of bullshit again like I knew you were doing back then? I'm going, oh my God. Thank God I am not into material things because I'm going to stay home with my babies. I'll go back to work when they go to school. I'm good. I'm good. I cannot go on vacation this year. I'm good. Me and my babies will go to the beach instead and have a good old time. And I'll raise them. Society, stop pressuring mothers to do it all. NBC and your shiny little morning package, stop it. You're selling a lie. You're selling a pipe dream, man. It's hard as hell out here. Life is hard. Haven't you heard? I need coffee. I'm going to get way off track. I got nothing fancy to offer you while I'm away, so just run feral in the chat. I don't care. Okay. I think I heard Lauren mention something about this case, and I thought, oh God, is Dr. John going to analyze Lindsay Clancy? He better be more concerned with Grayson at the moment. That just saying. That shit was wild. I saw today. All right. Actually, Andy, I don't know when that live occurred. Do you? The date on that live stream when they actually did that, or that? No, it wasn't a live stream. Takesy backsy, the Patreon where you got to go pay for their asses. You're paying nobody for their damn Patreon. Get over yourselves. What do y'all think you are? Anyway, that's a whole other rant right there. Yeah, I got a feral mod, Andy. Her name is Simi Sharp. Be careful. July 19th. So this month, what, a week ago or so? Huh. Have they been clocking the internet, Andy, to see how long it takes it to get out there? Because they mentioned, they're pretty sure that it would be out there. So I guess they were they probably had Trisha and Stacy without an E, executive producer, everybody, all of websleuths.com people, they were all trolling the internet watching for that audio or that recording to drop. Okay. Okay, girl, we see you. You're not hard to figure out, Lauren. You never really were. You're just not. Not to me anyway. I knew Grayson was mentally disturbed a long time ago. It was obvious that one time I heard that one interview with her and John talking about that one case. I was like, holy shit, she just went there all by her little old self. No encouragement from Lauren. I can't blame Lauren for this one. It's all Grayson and John. You're a weird one, dude. John, you're a weird one. All right, let's get back to the document. So during the postpartum period following her second child, Dawson's birth, Lindsay was initially elated with increased energy. Patrick described that she had manic behavior for multiple days. In October of 2020, she had an episode of decluttering to simplify her life. Oh, hell. Obsessively cleaning and discarding items. She felt amazingly on top of things. Her thoughts raced, and she constantly felt pressure to be active. I gotta fix this so I can control my controls better. Here, okay. Okay, so she's experiencing kind of like the highs and lows of manic behavior, y'all. She's an episode of decluttering to simplify her life, obsessively cleaning and discarding items, felt amazingly on top of the world, or on top of things, rather, I'm sorry. Her thoughts were racing, and she constantly felt pressure to be active. That right there, there was a time when my kids were little to tell myself at the end of the night, it's okay, sit your ass down and just be still. I had to teach myself that was okay. Everything's done, girl. You've done it all. Nothing else is left. Go sit down. Now I cherish that sit down moment. I promise you, when this live ends, I'll be sitting down in that backyard in my peace. Try and get this little thing in my shoulder to go away, because Lauren brings it on. She activates me. Lauren, you activate my trauma. Could you stop? During that postpartum, y'all, I'm a little sarcastic around here. During the postpartum period following her second child, Dawson, that's when she experienced the behavior. Okay. She had the manic behavior. In October 2020, she had the episode of decluttering to simplify her life, obsessively cleaning and discarding the items and feeling all the pressure. Okay. After her second pregnancy, the anxiety emerged at approximately 2 months postpartum. Although Lindsay was offered Zoloft by the psychiatrist, she declined due to concerns about breastfeeding, and rightfully so. Her symptoms result, because they know all these women breastfeed. You can't slap them all on drugs during postpartum when they're trying to take care of that baby. What the actual fuck do you want them to do? Her symptoms resolved through exercise, healthy diet, meditation, and several therapy sessions. That stuff is recommended, but it doesn't solve it all. These prior postpartum episodes, including the hypomanic symptoms following Dawson's birth, were critical indicators that should have alerted competent psychiatric providers to the risk of bipolar disorder. It absolutely should have. Uh, Absolutely should have. And the potential for more severe postpartum psychiatric complications following subsequent pregnancies. Women know when they're pregnant, it will a chemical imbalance, y'all, is what causes a lot of problems like depression, anxiety. A chemical imbalance can be the root cause. When you have a baby, it throws your hormones are out of whack. So it could trigger that underlying condition of bipolar disorder. Do you see what y'all follow that? Some women have it present at a very young adult woman age, like going to college, and they start experiencing this through their college years. For some, it comes once the babies come, right? But when the babies come, it's now postpartum because it's triggered by that. That's what I feel like's happening. That chemical imbalance will trigger a whole chain of events. You know what I mean? My dog decided to weigh in again. She was being so quiet. Hey, let me go let them out for a second, guys. Let me go put them outside because it's cooled off now and they like to run around and get their playtime in. And it was way too hot earlier. So just give me a moment, guys. I'll be right back. Thank you. Should I put up a coffee sign? Y'all tell everybody I'll be right back. I want to apologize in advance for the dead air. Okay, thanks, guys. I apologize. I had to take a comfort break, as Joe Schmo takes every now and then. We call them comfort breaks when we have to step away and use the restroom. Thanks for that. I had to let the puppies out. Well, we have a puppy and our other one dog's like 5 years old, and she's a big girl. And then my little puppy, she's a puppy. And I told my son today when he came home from his weekend away, I'm like, he was like greeting his dogs, he's like, leave my dogs alone. He kind of cut me a look. I said, these are my dogs now. Go away. They don't, bye. And he's gone again. So I'm here with my grand dogs. One's like 5 and one's a puppy. And that what the big dog gets aggressively loud when they're playing because the puppy's relentless and just attacks the shit out of her. And yeah, they get loud. They're rambunctious. They're Florida dogs. I got to protect them from the heat. They couldn't go outside earlier and frolic and play. So this is their time to shine. And it was a beautiful sky. Okay. Find your peace, people. Find your peace. The dogs think they're cats. Look, these dogs and this one cat of mine, man, this is a comedy show. Like Butterfly says, I got the Tom and Jerry shit going on over here, y'all. That dog will barely put her head in the door now. She's just like looks around. She's like, I know that killer cat's in here somewhere. That mean cat. That cat's sound asleep right now. All right. Her third pregnancy and initial postpartum period. Lindsay gave birth to Callan on May 26, 2022. Both Patrick and Lindsay took parental leave following Callan's birth. That's really supportive of her husband to do that, guys. Not a lot of men will do that. I know they want their women to be equal as them and work and do all the things, but stay home with you with a baby? What? So hats off, Patrick. And hats off for the companies who allow it. I'll take it all day. In fact, it was long overdue when they finally implemented that. I'm waiting on America to catch up to my thoughts for 20 years, guys. There's a way to solve some of these problems if they just do it. But we're a greedy breed over here, unfortunately. Our shiny toys matter more than anything. What we do for a living and how much we make matters above all. Well, in some people's eyes, right, Lauren? Lindsay demonstrated, I'm going to talk to her, y'all, because she invited me to do so. Lindsay demonstrated significant I'm going to give them what they want. They activated me. Lindsay demonstrated significant activation and hypomanic behavior, including an extensive program of exercise beginning only 1 week after delivery. Man, she was reeling, y'all. She woke every day before the children at 4 a.m., ran 3 miles, did spinning for 30 minutes on the Peloton, and 30 minutes before. God damn it. Sorry, Lord, I'm so sorry for taking your name in vain. I do not like doing that. When the meds don't work, honey, you need to exercise and change your diet. We don't know what else to do for you, but those should work. That's what I'm picking up here. So she's like, okay. So she gets up at 4 a.m. and she runs 3 miles. She does spinning for 30 minutes on the Peloton and then for 30 minutes of aerobics before she ever gets her kids out of the bed. On July 4th of 2022, only 5 weeks after delivery, she ran a 5-mile race. Lindsay's sister Allison observed that unlike her usual sensible self, Lindsay impulsively bought into a beach body. Society coming down hard on you, Lindsay. Multi-level marketing scheme, purchasing products to resell. Oh my God. She was doing that. The multi-level marketing schemes where you purchase the products and then you resell them. She made videos of her exercise routines and posted them on Facebook. I did not know any of that, y'all. And encouraged friends to join the program. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't know that. Shanann Watts was doing what was that stuff she was selling, y'all, that she was in on? Forgot what it was. I knew of it. Was it Thrive? Was she doing Thrive? I can't remember. I knew what Thrive was already. So there was a Beachbody money making scheme apparently, and they were selling products to help achieve the Beachbody through exercise routines and such, and she did Facebook posts and videos about them and encouraged friends to join the program. Burnout. Right? Forrest says if he did all that, he'd be exhausted. Right, Andy? Wait, what? Here in the UK, it's the law. Have to give them time off for all dads, paid till 6 weeks, and personal family issues. Yeah. And remember, there was big arguments here about even giving families time off to handle crisis, like a death in the family. The loss of a parent or a child or a brother or sister, or your mom suddenly is sick and you got to figure everything out. It's like, no, America, we don't got time for all that bullshit. Get back to work and earn the buck so you can pay the mortgage on that house you obtained. I'm all for tiny house living down by the river. I could do the van life down by the river if I had good quality internet. That's my only drawback. Just me and the animals to frolic all by ourselves until I go live and talk to my friends. That's where my headspace likes to live. All right. One day somebody's going to get mad at me and clip my stupid shit. Was it Thrive? I thought so, Hybrid. Thank you. Because that was a big thing for the longest time, right? So when I realized Shanann was in on that, I was like, oh, wow, okay. They like to Facebook like Megan. That's where she learned that she was an empath. The women who attract narcissistic men, it's not your fault. You're just empaths. Facebook told them that. I was there when I saw it all happening. That's how I know that's where she learned it, y'all, in case you were wondering. I'm just a healed woman on the internet, Lauren, trying to help other women heal, honey. That's all I'm doing up here. I smoke an occasional cigarette and drink a bunch of coffee. And I'm in Florida where certain things are legal to help calm my anxieties, keep my PTSD under control. It's natural, created by Jesus Christ himself. Because these pharmaceuticals suck, like your husband doctor. Okay, back on track. My mind wandered. See, I'm not totally fixed, y'all. Just partially fixed. These early postpartum behaviors constituted a hypomanic episode that, combined with her history following Dawson's birth, should have immediately suggested bipolar disorder to any competent psychiatric provider who obtained an adequate history. Because bipolar disorder and depression are two separate things. You can't even treat them the same. Doctors, pay attention. John, focus. Get out your little handy-dandy notepad, John. Lindsay's desperate efforts to seek help. Hey, Real Happy. Welcome in. Oh, the employer has to pay the well, we have it here, right? You do get maternity leave. Women get it. But a lot of companies were never offering that to the men. They do now. Not all, I don't guess, but I don't know. I don't keep up with it anymore. I don't have to worry about all that anymore. You know what I mean? But we have maternity leave for women here. But there was a time women worried, if I don't go back to work quick enough, am I going to have my job when I get back? And then the baby has to go immediately into daycare as a newborn, weeks old. I couldn't even imagine. The thought of that alone gave me anxiety. Right? Like the thought of my newborn, like, do I need all these shiny things today? Can I get them in the future? Yeah, I'm good. Because the thought of sending my newborn anywhere besides with me was just too much. Like, no, I can't go to work all day and focus and earn that buck to buy my shiny toys, worrying about that baby at the daycare, crying for me, needing me to nurture and hold and bond. Oh, I'm not downing women who have to do it. I get it. But it's a fucking struggle if you're going to be honest. That is a struggle to have to go back to work and worry about that newborn all day and try to put it out of your mind to get your job done. By the end of the damn day, you're stressed out and tired. I didn't have to go back to work like that and experience that. But I know that's what I would have felt like. Simi says most won't take infants. So what, 6 weeks old, isn't it? Isn't that the cutoff for the mother maternity leave? I think they take babies at 6 weeks old in daycares. Give them all their shots and bring them like little puppies. At approximately 12 weeks postpartum, Lindsay's mood switched suddenly to anxiety and depression. She experienced debilitating anxiety, insomnia, sleeping only approximately 3 hours per night, and exhaustion during the day. They have no idea how to fix insomnia in women. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've suffered with that my entire life to this day. My biggest battle that I cannot conquer is insomnia. And trust me, nothing they ever gave me to take worked. So I'm good. We'll sleep one day. She had no motivation and could not exercise. So remember when she's working out aggressively and she's doing the videos and she's trying to tame that beach body, and now she's at a state where none of that even matters anymore. No motivation whatsoever for that. Everything about her body felt heavy and required effort. It was a chore to dress or shower. Her parents came from out of state to help her care for the children. There was a drastic change in her right then and there. Yes, Simi, a lot of us do have moms we can rely on to help, or an aunt or a sister, right? Or anybody in the family that can watch. We've had that, in my family. We would watch each other's kids because she had to go to work, right? So I do get it. But there's a village, right? And if you have that family to lean on, that's excellent. That alleviates a lot of that anxiety. It would for me. I was the woman who stayed home with her kids, and guess what? I babysat my friends' kids. I pretty much had a daycare at my house. I'm like, what's 3 or 4 more, right? Bring them on. And so they didn't have to worry about their kids. I did that for the first several. I mean, my kids were never bored on weekends. We had everybody's kids. It felt like y'all was burned out on kids after a while. But that's the way it was. That's the way I wanted it. I didn't. But that's how we rolled in my family. There's a lot of women in my family, so there's always somebody available to watch somebody's kid, right? My sister actually took care of my granddaughter for probably the first 2 years of her life while my daughter went back to work. Yeah. So hats off. Okay. So she couldn't exercise anymore. Everything about her body felt off, and then her parents came in to help from out of state to help her care for her children. Recognizing that something was seriously wrong, Lindsay took the initiative to seek psychiatric care. So September 12th of 2022, she finds Dr. Jennifer Tufts online and scheduled an appointment. At her first appointment with Dr. Tufts, Lindsay's Edinburgh postnatal depression scale score was 23, indicating severe depression. The Edinburgh postnatal depression scale. Don't tell Dr. John about that. He'll want it for his future episodes. He's probably already deep dove it if he's covered this. He's probably done a breakdown of what that is. Did he write it himself? Anyway, Dr. Tufts prescribed Zoloft despite Lindsay's hesitation about the medication due to breastfeeding concerns. So she prescribed it despite Lindsay's concerns. Did you discuss the concerns? Lindsay waited approximately 2 weeks before taking the medication, still concerned about its effects on breastfeeding, but ultimately began taking Zoloft in mid-October of 2022 because she knew she needed the help. The only way to fix you is to take that medicine. They're telling her, you'll be fine when you're breastfeeding. It's good. Women, your babies cannot thrive if you're not breastfeeding them. That's what society will tell you, and a whole bunch of fucking doctors starting in 2000 something. I was floored when it happened, honestly. Floored. Because a whole hell of a lot of women before that raised babies without breastfeeding that were just fucking fine. Thank you very much. Not all women are capable of breastfeeding their babies, but society will tell women, you are not doing it right if you're not breastfeeding. There's pressure. The baby's not going to thrive otherwise. Again, society will lie to you every single time. So, regardless of her concerns for her baby, she takes the medication being prescribed because she's being told that's the only way you're going to get help. And she knows she's got to get better. So after increasing the Zoloft dose from 25 to 50, here we go. As prescribed, Lindsay experienced a severe adverse reaction and did not sleep for 48 hours and had racing thoughts. Take it anyway. You'll go to sleep eventually. I throw that bottle right back at that heifer and said, you take it. Peace out. Because that shit you just gave me to put me to sleep sent me to a next level, and I was up all motherfucking night long, and for 2 fucking days I can't sleep, bitch. You take it. But it wasn't Zoloft. It was another one they're going to mention in this document somewhere. So she didn't sleep 48 hours, and it increased her racing thoughts. She had worsening anxiety, and she felt awful. The dramatic departure from her previous sleep patterns was an obvious warning sign of medication-induced activation consistent with bipolar disorder. Lindsay promptly reported these symptoms to Dr. Tufts on October 20th of 2022. Rather than recognizing the significance of this reaction and conducting appropriate testing to determine why Lindsay had such an adverse response to a relatively low dose of the medication, Tufts simply discontinued the Zoloft, and she prescribed Ativan and Benadryl for sleep. And I don't know why the hell she would do that. Ativan, I get it. It's probably, of all the drugs I've seen so far, the cleanest and best one for her. But that Benadryl on top of the Ativan, I don't understand that. To sleep with the Benadryl? No. You're combining the Benadryl with the Ativan. All right, doctor. Did you go to the same school Dr. John went to? Is that protocol these days? To prescribe the Benadryl with the Ativan? Because I never had one doctor ask me if I want Benadryl to go with my Ativan. Huh. I'd have laughed and said, excuse me, did I tell you I had a cold or some allergy problems? Did I say that? I said I couldn't fucking sleep. But Ativan's not for sleep, by the way. So I don't know what they were thinking with that. That's not even that don't even. Ativan and Zoloft are a different class and don't even do the same things. This makes no sense to discontinue Zoloft, an antidepressant, and hit her with Ativan and Benadryl, an anxiety medication, and a sleep aid. All right, whatever, doctor. Even after carefully tapering these medications, Lindsay's profound insomnia persisted, accompanied by distressing cardiac palpitations. She's having panic attacks. Her condition continued to deteriorate. Oh, Benadryl, you can do a lot. Look, I know of this kid, not related to me, somebody that I know knows them. These kids apparently, allegedly, tried to get high on Benadryl one night. I was like, what in the actual hell? When I heard about this. Yeah, you can get psychosis, but you overtake the Benadryl, it's bad, right? So for them to give her an over-the-counter medication like Benadryl along with an Ativan, no, that's not. I don't know what that's about. It's ridiculous. On November 16th, her insomnia had become so severe that she took herself to the emergency room at South Shore Hospital seeking help. She reported insomnia, anxiety, and palpitations. The ER doctor prescribed trazodone for sleep, but it was not effective. No shit. No shit. You don't say. Take it anyway. I prescribed it. Let me get it out of my purse and throw it right back at you. Catch the woo-woo. Here it comes. It can help on occasion, but on the no, it does nothing. Patrick's mother, a nurse at South Shore Hospital, contacted the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health Program on November 20th of 2022, seeking additional help for Lindsay. Patrick's mother is a nurse at South Shore. She contacts South Shore Perinatal Behavior Program on the 20th of November, seeking additional help for Lindsay. The whole freaking family's trying. Nurse practitioner Julie Paul reached out to Lindsay. Lindsay reported to Nurse Paul that she was very frustrated and scared, experiencing extreme insomnia, averaging only 3 hours per night, and having racing thoughts. Nurse Paul prescribed Prozac on the 21st of November 2022. After merely 4 days on Prozac, Lindsay reported that the medication intensified her insomnia. She immediately informed providers that the Prozac was discontinued. This was the second antidepressant that had caused, Zoloft being the first one, Prozac your second, caused activation and worsening insomnia, a critical red flag for bipolar disorder that the providers failed to recognize. On November 25, 2022, Nurse Paul prescribed 3 different medications. Ambien, which I refuse to ever take because I don't need to drive in the middle of the night or cook eggs. Remeron, really, mood stabilizer, and Klonopin. Klonopin's a multitude little pill, isn't she? I'd never liked her. I was like, no, she a little much. Anxiety. November 26, 2022, after taking Remeron, Lindsay experienced disassociation. I didn't take that shit. Like, they tried to give it to me and stuff. Like, what is all of this? And why are you trying to give me all this when all I'm telling you is I can't sleep. But this, and that, I did it in my ass. I'm telling you I can't sleep. You're telling me I got a whole bunch of other shit going on that's not happening. I just can't sleep. And if I don't get some sleep, it might lead to all that eventually. I don't know. Shit. But shit, I've been fighting that all my whole life. So me, it's like whatever. But no, none of that works. It's a cocktail of bullshit they're handing her. And they're not trying to get to the root cause of what's causing this chemical imbalance in her system. It could be an underlying whole host of things causing all of this. But they want to just throw pills at it. It's disgusting. What Andy say? Exactly, Andy. Ativan. It doesn't bother me at all. I like that medication. When I needed it, I didn't feel like I took a medication, right? That was the key thing to me. I didn't feel like I took a medication. But by God, that edge is gone. That need to be on the edge of my seat anxiety ain't there. And I can literally focus and function all day. And then I go to the doctor late, after I feel 2 years right into it. I'm like, I don't, and in fact, they were prescribed way more than I needed, right? I mean, I even told them, y'all, that's a little crazy. Like, y'all got me like as many times a day as I need. Nah, we don't need to do all that. I just like twice a day, I'm good until I could maintain again, right? And get that balance back. And then when I stopped that medication, God, that was a couple of years ago. I have never looked back. But that's one of the best ones out there, in my opinion. And they've tried me on a lot of them because I couldn't sleep. Because they assumed I had a whole bunch of other depression. No, bipolar disorder and depression are completely separate things. Like, so separate, you can't treat them the same. These healthcare providers should fucking know that. But they're all like John, so I don't have much hope in the system. That's why I'm here for this lawsuit. Alan Jackson, maybe you'll get your hands on that trust fund money one day and bring that lawsuit out in California for us. I'll be there for that too. Okay. So they're giving her the Ambien now on top of her Remeron and the Klonopin. And then November 26th, after taking the Remeron, she's experiencing the disassociation, perceiving the world around her as unreal, distorted, and distant. She was unable to determine what was real. She became disoriented, forgetful, confused, disconnected from her own body. She was unable to drive and unable to be alone. Oh, Lord. Lindsay reported these alarming symptoms to providers on November 28, 2022. Nothing was noting she was still struggling, sleeping only 3 to 4 hours, and feeling disoriented and forgetful. On November 19th, 2022, Lindsay began treating with Nurse Gelada. Lindsay reported that she was anxious and frightened about what is happening and that she blamed herself. Gelada correctly considered a bipolar presentation and prescribed Seroquel, the worst one of all, in my opinion. An antipsychotic and mood stabilizer. There's been multiple lawsuits against that medication that have been won, by the way. Class action lawsuits. I know somebody who actually was a part of one but was still taking the medication, which absolutely floored me when I found out. What? You're suing them, but you're still taking the meds? I don't get that. It's a little freaky deaky, a little woo-woo-ish. After starting Seroquel, Lindsay's condition took a dramatic turn for the worse. I bet it did. That shit, y'all, it floored me. I could not. I got up to go to the fucking kitchen one night to get a Coke out of the refrigerator because I was thirsty. I took my meds like a good little girl. Took my meds. I might get a good night's sleep. I go get a Coke. I turned around to walk back to the bedroom, and holy shit, I barely made it back to that bedroom, y'all. I didn't know what was going on. Can I feel myself? Is this room moving? Am I there yet? Where's the bed? It was the weirdest feeling I ever experienced in my entire life. It was a total disassociation type thing. I don't like that medicine at all. It's like, no fucking thank you. I'll just never sleep. We're good. I'm used to it by now at that point, right? My little boy was getting older, so I could just like rest a little more, I'll wait it out till this kid's grown, then I'll sleep kind of thing. Yeah, it's okay. I'm good. I'll suffer. I'll suffer in silence. She developed suicidal ideation and began experiencing what was described as intrusive thoughts, which were actually auditory hallucinations. Is that so? Intrusive thoughts, when people are sitting there thinking intrusive thoughts, it's like an auditory. That is so, God, ugh. It's bad enough to be in our own heads at times, right? Could you imagine if it was full blown, that type of thing? That's got to be crazy to live with. The voice said, I will not be the same. I want to die. Like she thought there was she could never recover from what all she was feeling and experiencing and be whole, healthy, and normal again feeling. Lindsay openly communicated her escalating internal turmoil to her husband, her parents, and her providers. She described her emotional state as emotionless and like a zombie, attributing this profound effective blunting to the Seroquel. Yeah, damn it. Now, I'm not a doctor. Y'all, if you're prescribed medications out there, you need to take that up with your doctors, please. I can only share what my experience was. That's just an experience, in my opinion. And I need to make that clear on YouTube. Please do not take medical advice from me. But question everything you're ever prescribed is my advice to you as a friend. And look for those credentials on the wall. They may or may not matter. May or may not be fake. We don't know anymore. May or may not be embellished. So, December 4th, 2022. Wait, I skipped a day. December 2nd of 2022, Lindsay reported to Nurse Gelada that she had lost 15 pounds and had no appetite, was experiencing panic attacks and confusion, and had a lack of attention over the past 4 days. She's trying to tell them. It's not like this woman never reached out to a doctor in her life and just like, you know what, I'm going to be weird in my head and unalive my babies one day and then try to play like I was crazy. No, this is not what's happening in this case. This is wild. December 4th, Lindsay was so frightened by the hallucinations that she called the New Bedford unaliving hotline seeking help. Apologize for having to be a child on the internet, but YouTube is strict. She was told there was no emergency because she calls the hotline. She was told there was no emergency because she said she had no specific plan on how to unalive herself. They want a specific motherfucking plan at the unaliving hotline. They want details on how you're going to do it before they act and help you. What the hell am I reading? Why am I about to go next level? Can I see the receipts on when she called that in? If they don't keep receipts on these people that call in, we got a fucking problem right there. But I want the receipts on that. Mr. Attorney here, I might like you. I could be defense attorney one day, prosecutor one. It don't matter to me. We need that information because that's fucking bullshit. We need there was no specific plan on how. So it's not enough to call and say, I feel like I want to harm myself. I better stop saying it like that on the internet. Fuck. YouTube is so weird. So if you call and say those things, they're going to say, well, we need a plan of how you're going to do it before we can help you. Oh my God, that better not be true. For fuck's sakes, Butterfly, what are we hearing? Hey, subtext. Yeah, right, Andy? Psychopharmacologist. Right, Rachel? And please look up the side effects of your meds. But, don't, unless you're one of those people that like are hypochondriacs, probably not recommended. But yes, pay attention to your side effects. Google is not a hypochondriac's friend. I don't recommend it. That's a whole other can of worms. Andy says if only we lived in a country where they would take her into a sleep clinic, medically sedate her, and see what the fuck was going on, right? Does she have a tumor? I'm not kidding. Exactly. It could have been that, Andy. How many times have you, and you probably, obviously from your comment, but these tumors can grow and these people, the patients that happens to, right? They will start acting in a crazy way, in a crazy manner, doing things that are not them. And a lot of times it can go right back to they got a brain tumor. You're absolutely right. There could have been a lot of underlying medical conditions going on, right? Did they do CT scans of her brain at any point in time to look for anything abnormal? Um, Brain aneurysm trying to grow, a tumor, a cancer, anything, an underlying autoimmune disease that could be sending her body into fucking havoc. There could have been a lot of things going on, but no, they just take those big pharmaceutical companies came in here and those guys had a bunch of samples and shit and kickbacks and such. Take this, it'll fix you. They did studies and they know their medicine works. We read it, we believe it. They gave me cute little tote bags and stuff, a coffee mug, and some ink pens. So we're promoting their medication today. And then we don't have to do any actual work to fix you because we don't know how. So the internet relies on women like Megan fucking Connor. Damn. We got a crisis, y'all. Between Dr. John and Megan's and this shit right here, we got a crisis on our hands. And the Unaliven hotline says they need a plan of how you plan to do it first before we can help you any further. Thank you for your time. Goodbye. Fucking shit. Fire. Lord, I'm going to need to go outside and have a cigarette and touch grass for a minute. Play Simi's Feral song while I'm away. On December 5, 2022, Lindsay met virtually with an Aspire crisis support clinician. A crisis support clinician. Wonder what the credentials are for that. 8 months of training. You can sign up on Facebook today. She was again seeking help. She was told that she did not meet the criteria for inpatient treatment because she did not have an unaliving plan. So the Aspire crisis support clinician told her she didn't meet the criteria for inpatient treatment because she didn't have her unaliving plan. What the fuck am I reading? I'm sorry, I tried not to be unhinged on the internet today. But by God, this is triggering me, Lauren. I pretend like she's right here, y'all, and I just turn around and talk to her. Hey, girl, you fucking freak. Scoot over. Get out of my space, Lauren. You're taking it up. It's a fucking heifer. She wants to hog my non-camera. She wants to hog the microphone, but I won't let her talk. She's said enough today. By God, you said enough today, Lauren. Hey, Heather, welcome in. I'm a little salty over here, guys. Sorry. It is what it is. All right, so she's got no unaliving plan, so they can't help her today. On December 6, 2022, Patrick attended an appointment with his wife, Lindsay, and Nurse Gilletta. Patrick connected Lindsay's unaliving thoughts to the Seroquel. Good for you, Patrick. I've been liking this guy for quite some time. He told Nurse Gelada that Lindsay is 10,000 times worse since she's taken this medication, and asked if they could get Lindsay off medications and start from scratch to see what's going on. Holy fuck, and this man's babies are gone. Can you take her off all of this medicine and start from scratch to see if we can figure out what's going on? Anybody who says this trial is unimportant doesn't understand the big picture. He asked if there could have been some mistake, like using the wrong medications. Nurse Gelada acknowledged it's possible. It is possible, says Nurse Gelada. Despite this, Gelada continued to increase the Seroquel. He's got concerns that this medicine is causing all of what his wife is currently experiencing and wants to stop the meds, start over, clean slate. And she's like, no, we're just going to increase that same medication instead. You don't know what you're talking about, Patrick. I'm the Nurse Gelada. I'm the healthcare provider, Patrick, not you. I know what's best for your wife. Damn it, man. On December 13, 2022, Lindsay remained deeply depressed, had no motivation, and still had suicidal ideation, and she wanted this to all be over. This is crazy, y'all. Lindsay had and remember, this is her attorneys filing a civil suit, so this is their account of things. We keep that in mind, but damn it, we think they got receipts, right? We think they got receipts here. Doctors write everything down, right, John? Taking notes on your patients and all of the things we're doing, prescribing and telling them we're supposed to take notes on all that, right? Okay. So we got receipts, I think. Lindsay has had a devastating week. December 15th, Patrick called Nurse Gelada and informed her office to report that Lindsay has had a devastating week and that this is the worst day for Lindsay. That was December 15th, y'all. 2022. She harmed the kids January 24th, 2023. She had horrible thoughts all day. Lindsay had auditory hallucinations all day, every day. She felt debilitated, not interested in anything, exhausted, and could not get out of the bed. The hallucinations were loud and continued all day, saying, I will never be the same. I will never be me again. And you are damaged. You will never be the same. The only option is to no longer be here. Now, we understand she harmed those children. There's no doubt about it, and she's not trying to get away with it. But she also tried to harm herself at the same time. Did her thoughts lead her to, I can end this all for me and the children? I can't care for the children. I don't know what would trigger her to take her children with her. I don't know if I can get there yet on that part. But herself, I could see, I'm no good to these kids. I'll never be the mom they need. That. But something also leads them. Is it a mother? Those are my babies. If I go that, I'm trying to get to that psychological part so I can understand what happens with these women, right? Why it has to include the children. Do y'all get what I'm saying? I can understand why she's wanting to no longer be here herself with all that going on, but why the children, right? It's always that one aspect I have to put in place. because it ain't the first time I've thought, what's wrong with these women, right? Lindsay told her husband, Patrick, I have thoughts of harming the kids. She also told her mother about these thoughts because she was in a psychotic state. Lindsay also had paranoid delusions that could hear that people could hear her thoughts and that she would be locked in a hospital and have her children taken away. So she's now thinking people can hear her thoughts. Oh, goodness. Lindsay's escalating self-harm thoughts prompted a visit to Massachusetts General Hospital, Mass General Hospital emergency room on December 20th, 2022, where she sought help. The ER suggested either admission to McLean Hospital or the partial hospitalization day program at Women and Infants Hospital in Rhode Island. Women and Infants failure to properly treat Lindsay. So now we're going to where she went there to seek help. So now we're at December 21. So December 15th is the worst day, right? The week-long episode that Patrick was complaining about to the doctor on the Seroquel. Now we're on December 21. Lindsay admitted herself to the partial hospitalization day program at Women and Infants Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island, a program intended for patients with postpartum depression. This was yet another active step Lindsay took to seek help for her worsening condition. Lindsay's chief complaint at Women and Infants was, I feel numb and crazy depressed. She reported feeling crazy depressed, numb to all emotion, can't feel love, that her life is becoming a disaster. She couldn't feel fear, and she was messed up beyond repair. She had lost 15 pounds in a month, had no motivation, and reported that it takes all the effort in the world just to breathe. Okay. Lindsay's Edinburgh postnatal depression scale score at Women and Infants was 23, indicating the severe depression. Her generalized anxiety disorder item, or known as GAD-7 score, was 21, higher than the threshold for most severe category. Despite these severely elevated scores, Dr. Diaz at Women and Infants concluded that Lindsay had no postpartum depression. In December of 2022, after, dude, the fuck? Sorry, y'all. What's he think she got then? And rejected her bipolar disorder diagnosis because of no history of hypomania or psychosis or family history. So a whole ass new doctor now got a whole ass new diagnosis, right, doc? Really? Now she's got no postpartum and no bipolar. What you got? What she got then? This conclusion was negligent because Dr. Diaz failed to obtain an adequate history. Diaz properly inquired Lindsay's early postpartum period, she would have learned of the hypomanic episode that began immediately after delivery. Well, what did she diagnose her with if she didn't think she had all that? Diaz accepted Lindsay and Patrick's belief that her symptoms were due to over-medication and recommended weaning the Seroquel without consulting the doctor who put her on it and figuring out why she was on the Seroquel. Really, Dr. Diaz? Wow. Glad you're named in this lawsuit. The clinical team and Women and Infants posited that Lindsay's symptoms were more pharmacologically induced than purely depressive. Those doctors prescribed you too much medication. Let me wean you off. I'll fix you. What in the world? Yeah, they were. I don't disagree with the diagnosis of that part of it, but what do you want? Don't you want to know why they have her on all the meds or that medicine? Why they was prescribed to start with? Jesus Christ! What was he going to do when he weaned her off? Put her on something different? Monitor her behavior in the meantime? What a fucking whatever. Your word salad bullshit. Women and Infants Hospital determined that its day program was not appropriate for Lindsay and reached out to Nurse Gelada to discuss Lindsay's care. How come old Gelada again? Gelada did not respond. The fuck? Doesn't surprise me. Women and Infants' negligent failure to properly evaluate Lindsay, obtain an adequate psychiatric history, and recognize the signs of bipolar disorder with postpartum onset resulted a missed opportunity to provide appropriate treatment. The recommendation to wean Seroquel without providing a proper alternative treatment plan paradoxically contributed to Lindsay's further deterioration. Indeed. Following the Seroquel reduction recommended by Women and Infants, Lindsay's unaliving ideation resurged. By December 29th, Lindsay told her husband, I can't tough it out anymore. I need to go to McLean. December 29th. She harms the kids January 24th. I don't know what the doctor's basic. Doctor didn't do anything. Didn't get a history, really. Didn't consult the other doctor, figure out why she was on the Seroquel. Hey, my wife's on Seroquel and we feel like it's too much. She's like, okay, cool, I'll reduce it without asking further questions. Just get out of here with your Dr. John type shit. Diploma, whatever you got. Yeah, Andy. So yeah, she is begging to be put into. She wanted to go into in-house treatment. It sounds like to me. She wanted to do inpatient treatment. Every time she reaches out and tells them, they're telling her, just we'll adjust the meds. But that's it. And she's even stressed and pointed out, I feel like hurting my children. That should be the hugest red flag of all. If I'm a doctor, if I'm an actual doctor and a patient walks in and tells me that, I'm not trying to send her home to those babies. Am I wrong? I think that is the worst thing a doctor could ever do, is try to send that woman home to her babies that confesses to you, I'm having thoughts of harming my babies. Are they going to tell her, you really won't do it, but just take this, you'll be okay? Are you fucking kidding me? I could not live with myself as a doctor if I did that. Because what if what I did didn't work? And she goes home and hurts the children. Who's accountable then? Idiots, man. I'm so done with society's mental health bullshit game they got, this con game they got running. They've been running it for years, slapping labels everywhere and diagnoses, and then telling you your pill will fix it. Your bullshit scheme is, the jig is up, motherfuckers. And I've been here for it for that motherfucking long. I saw some things back in the day on certain programs I used to watch. What's that one doctor's name that used to come on CNN? Dr. Drew Dude. He reared his little head during the Nick Reiner stuff because he knows a thing or two, too. Anyway, maybe one day we'll get onto all that. I've kind of been there before, but we'll do it again one day. Ugh, good Lord. right? Forrest, here, have more Seroquel and go home. You'll be just fine. What kind of ridiculous shit is that we're hearing? Like I said, it would be a completely different story if this woman never reached out, right? Pretended, well, if she's not having an affair, ready to run off with a man, the babies are in the way situation. God's not telling her they're zombies. Fuck, what the shit is happening? She's begging for help. And she's probably the only mother that's actually done that, that's done this. From the ones I've evaluated anyway. She's the only one that's ever reached out and said, hey, excuse me, I need help here. Something's very off. And, well, just slap her on some pills with a label and use it for a crutch the rest of your entire life. To the point you cannot handle life anymore because you cover true crime to a depth you no longer believe in Jesus. Young women no longer wanting to give birth to children on this corrupted earth in which we live in. Take care of yourselves, women. You matter. You always have. And all you stay-at-home moms, when society tells you your job is not as hard as them, just bless their little hearts and wink your eye right back at them. I got mad respect for each and every one of you. And I have a lot of respect for you women that go to work every day and you absolutely have no choice to do so. We support that too, because that's a fucking hard walk to walk. Been there too. Been there too. Making sure that baby is well cared for because you have to get up and go to work because you're a single mom. Yeah. But we don't use it as our crutch all of our lives, do we? We just put on our big girl pants and do what we got to do. And thank God that baby's there every night. All right. And pray we get the mental health, because society puts a lot of pressure on women. Lauren's out there saying we're all unhinged and unhealed already. We don't want to give her something to talk about. Hey, I could hold a Patreon, Lauren, and do a social experiment. Hold up. I'm going to write that down. So then we go. So she wants to go to the hospital. I can't tough it out anymore. I need to go to McLean. So then we go to December 30th now. Lindsay went to the MGH emergency room. So the next day, which suggested admission to McLean. On December 31st, the next day, Lindsay admitted herself to McLean Hospital. Why didn't they admit her when she's there on the 29th? Or I don't know why. She didn't go the 29th. The 29th is when she tells Patrick she can't do it anymore. The 30th, she goes to the ER. She could have been admitted from the ER, you idiots. Is that y'all don't work that way at your hospital? Whatever. So the next day, Lindsay admits herself to McLean, the nation's top-ranked psychiatric hospital. What? The nation's top-ranked psychiatric hospital? Are we kidding? Are we? Hold on, I can't breathe. My anxiety almost got the best of me. I had to use those tools I learned. She self-admits to McLean Hospital, the nation's top-ranked psychiatric hospital, due to her severe depression and suicidal ideation. Oh, shit. Lindsay's admitting symptoms included passive unaliving ideation, feeling detached, hopelessness, depression, no appetite or energy to perform activities of daily living, no motivation, anhedonia, Did I say that right? Racing thoughts, inability to organize her thoughts, memory problems, anxiety, and insomnia. Her insight and judgment were documented as limited. McLean placed Lindsay on a locked unit with 15-minute unaliving checks. However, the care she received was grossly inadequate. She was admitted on New Year's Eve, and there was a skeleton crew because of the holiday. Patients spent their evening doing puzzles and coloring. Jesus fucking Christ. That's the therapy they receive, y'all. Here's a coloring book and some crayons and a puzzle. Take your meds and go sit down. Nurses stayed behind a desk and a glass. Scared? Lindsay did not see a doctor until January 3rd, 3 days after her admission. So what the fuck were they having her do for 3 days? Color and do puzzles? I'm unalived at the moment. I need a Coca-Cola, some alternate caffeine source. My coffee's a little much right now. I've had like 2 or 3 pots today. I had a pot this morning, a pot during Jay's live, and a pot during my live. Enough's enough. I know when to reel it in. It's called self-awareness, Lauren. Damn it, man. It's 3 days later, she finally gets to see a doctor after doing puzzles and coloring and thinking about it for 3 days. What's going the fuck on here? Nurses behind the plexiglass little window on her phone or something. January 3rd, 2023, the doctor advised Lindsay to stop the Seroquel and the benzodiazepines and prescribed trazodone for sleep. On January 4th, Lindsay asked if she could go home for Cora's birthday. Because her thoughts had improved since the Seroquel decreased, she was approved for discharge. How about a day pass supervised by her husband? How about that? We got to protect the children. Of course she wants to go home for her baby's birthday. She loves that baby. She just asked if she'd go home for the birthday. Did she ask to go home? Or could I go home for the birthday? The fuck were y'all? She might have needed y'all's guidance on that one. Bloomin' ass idiots. Sorry, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. They run strong sometimes. Because her thoughts had improved since the Seroquel was decreased, the discharge was approved. Lindsay was discharged from McLean Hospital. Again, we don't care why you were on the Seroquel. Hey, you've improved since we decreased it. Okay, we're good. Lindsay was discharged from McLean Hospital on January 5th after only a 5-day stay. So, in 5 days, they backed her Seroquel down enough to stop the racing thoughts as bad within a 5-day period after 3 days of coloring and doing puzzles at the nation's top psychiatric facility. What? It's time for an overhaul, people. I shit you not. Y'all thought I was joking. Lindsay was discharged from McLean on the 5th after the 5-day stay, despite her documented limited insight and judgment. Yeah, all that cleared up in 5 days, apparently, and was returned to the care of the same outpatient providers who had been providing allegedly substandard care. Yeah. Well, we're going to reduce the medication those doctors gave you without asking many questions and send you right back to that same doctor, and they can fuck with your medicine some more. We're just here to stabilize you at the moment. And all y'all did for her, get her stabilized and send her back where she came from. Nation's top Nation's top what? If this is the standard for the nation, we are in serious trouble. No wonder crime runs amok in this country and Grayson doesn't want to have children. And Lauren questions God. I fixed it for you, Lauren. There's a little insight, baby girl. After discharge, Dr. Goodhart from McLean called Lindsay and spoke for only 10 minutes, offering names of antidepressants. After discharge, Goodhart from McLean called Lindsay and spoke for only 10 minutes, offering names to the patient of antidepressants. The staff at McLean suggested, amitriptyline. Yet another antidepressant. That's the mildest one of all. That one might help her sleep a tiny bit. The very class of medications that had repeatedly caused Lindsay to have adverse reactions. Yeah, these are not things you want to take long term. What are they doing to this poor girl? They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what works today. Running through their list of pills to try. Yeah, I've been there, Lindsay. I am so sorry. I mean, I wasn't experiencing all the things she was, y'all. Literally, for y'all that may be confused, I'll just give y'all a little backstory, and it's not for anything other than that. I had a 16-year-old daughter who passed away unexpectedly from a brain aneurysm, right? So, yeah, I couldn't sleep for a long time. There was, a lot going on. I'm trying to navigate life with a new life, and so I'm telling them that, I cannot freaking sleep. You're depressed. No, I got anxiety out the yin yang. I can't sleep. People are getting on my nerves. I want to bite their heads off. You know what I mean? Ugh. Just, you know what I mean? And they're like, no, you're depressed. You're this, you're that. Take this, take that. I'm like going, I'm reeling. Like, fuck no. That shit will send you to places you never needed to go. Like that Seroquel, man, when I couldn't get back to the bed that night, fuck that. All I said was I couldn't sleep. I didn't say I'm depressed and wanting to unalive because I lost my baby. No, fuck no. I got 2 other babies that need me. That never crossed my mind, but they wanted to project that onto me. And I'm sitting there arguing with the doctor, telling him, no, sir, I guarantee you, promise you, unaliving has never crossed my mind. I'm not built that way. But I only had one doctor ever listen to me to properly diagnose me. Ever. I laughed at most of them that they tried to. I'm telling myself, maybe you're feeling some type of way. You can't sleep. Your anxiety's through the roof. No fucking reason for it. You need to go get something, right? Go see. Go stabilize. Fucking bogus bullshit. Bogus bullshit. So they got her on amitriptyline now. A little tiny antidepressant. When Lindsay was discharged from McLean, and when you tell them you're not depressed, you don't even know what that feels like. Even though I'm experiencing a heavy loss, I get it, but I'm not the only one to ever do that. And I understand the depression that will come with that versus severe depression, which I did not have. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. It takes a lot to knock me the fuck down where I can't get up. You'll be shocked. So I don't know what else, diagnosing her, I feel like with the bipolar was accurate, but the way they were treating her for it was completely inaccurate. And her anxiety. Jesus Christ, they messed this girl up, giving her all this medication, y'all. So I just need to give y'all a little backstory on why I ever may have needed some medication. In case you're wondering, Lauren, I'm not an unhinged, unhealed lady on the internet. I promise. I have suffered trauma, but I don't use it for a crutch. I just bring an experience to the table like a lot of us do, but I'm healed. And no thanks to Megan Connor. I could probably outdo you in courses, little girl. I should try it just to see. Just to see for funsies, Megan. We don't need no special diplomas, do we? We just call ourselves a life coach. Ah, shit, fire. Got me a new scheme. Got me a new gimmick. Alrighty. We're not going to do that, Megan. We don't do that over here. We're going to try to support women who are in crisis like Lindsay without bringing Jesus into it and our upbringing. When Lindsay and our dumb cousins. When Lindsay was discharged from McLean, she thought I was just in the best hospital in the country. When Lindsay was discharged from McLean, she thought I was just in the best hospital in the country, so there was not much hope. She decided she must appear like she was okay and had to do her best. It would be a hard pill to swallow, so to speak, to know you're at the best facility in the country and you still feel the same. But they're telling you I don't know what the fuck they're telling her at this point. So now she decides I just do my best. I'm just got to go muddle along through my life over here and smile through it all like a good little soldier. Man, this poor little girl. Simi. I am built for cussing and discussing, not the deletion. Yeah, if y'all need, I'm here for those who ever feel that way, because I will talk to you all fucking night long. I will talk you off that ledge if you need it. When Lindsay was discharged from McLean, she thought she was in the best care, and she got to do her best. She's got to go home and do her best. McLean Hospital's negligent failure to properly evaluate Lindsay, obtain an adequate psychiatric history, provide sufficient inpatient care during her brief admission, and ensure appropriate discharge planning and follow-up care directly contributed to the tragic events that followed. It is heartbreaking, Happy. It's just like it's a lot. It's like when we really see what was actually going on there, right? Because I remember when this first happened, I was like, man, that's fucking wild story right there. It's crazy. And then I didn't pay attention to it forever until just recently again. Like I didn't read court documents and follow up on nothing. But when you start reading her history here, right? And going into the document, we knew there was a history because we'd already read the other document. But yeah, just seeing it laid out like this, and know we go to trial tomorrow, guys, for her unaliving of the children. And it's not to figure out if she did it. It's not guilty or not guilty. It's guilty or not guilty by reason of insanity, right? Her mental health at the time of the unalivings of the children. It's not about fighting about being innocent. She knows she's not innocent. The world knows it. Continued deterioration under Dr. Tufts' care. Lindsay returned to treatment with Dr. Tufts on January 6th of 2023. Okay. The day after the discharge from McLean. Tufts diagnosed her with chronic major depressive disorder, this time single episode moderate. Single episode. She recorded that Lindsay's psychiatric condition was deteriorating and that her medication was not effective. Despite her poor condition, Dr. Tufts met with Lindsay for only 17 minutes. This girl's going downhill fast. 17 minutes later, we're done here. Have a nice day, Lindsay. You'll be fine. On January 6th, 2023, weeks before she harmed her children. Right, Happy? Could you imagine that hopeless state she felt, right? Going through all of this, trying to get the help, going to the best hospital in the nation, and still nothing? You still feel the same? Ah. Okay, Marcy, if you ever need to, saltysleuth@gmail.com. Y'all can hit me up on the Discord chatty thingy. I don't know how you search and find the peoples, but you just do. I do check over there when I go to send the mods a link and stuff. And like I'll see other stuff. I'm like, oh, I have all my notifications for things turned. My phone is silent. I have no noisy notifications coming through unless you're my children. Otherwise, you're silent notifications, right? I can see. I can see. I don't need to hear it all the time in my head. Blah, 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 blah. I cannot with a noisy phone. That's a little much. I get that sensory stuff. I have sensory overload. I don't need all that in my life. And I don't answer my phone if you're not already programmed in there. I don't know your name. It's like, oh, I got 911. I have what do you call that? Voicemail for a reason. It works for me. See, get it? I don't need to answer that phone. And if it's business, they will leave a message. Y'all don't break your necks getting to that fucking phone. Jesus Christ. They'll call back. It's important. Lindsay turned to treatment for Tufts on the 6th, the day after the discharge, and then he diagnosed her with a different diagnosis now, again, like we said. Despite her poor condition, he met with her for the 17 minutes, or she met with her for 17 minutes, whatever. Okay, so now Cora's birthday is on the 7th of January. Lindsay was not herself. Remember, she wanted to go home after the 5-day stay for her daughter's birthday. And they said, okay, you're better. Everything seems to be okay. You can go. Lindsay was not herself. She smiled but could not converse. She avoided talking and could not make sense of what others were saying. Lindsay's hallucinations resumed within 1 week of her discharge from McLean. On January 10th, Lindsay returned to Tufts' office and switched to Valium for a benzodiazepine taper. Oh, fuck. Oh, butterfly. If I had had thoughts like that, taken all that, oh my God, I might. Ugh. No. I couldn't imagine what that does to somebody who's not already experiencing all of that on top of, on that part of it. I don't like the bipolar thing. Like I'm a clean freak, and there was times I could not sit still, like just go go go, right? But I was never depressed. Like I couldn't take care of myself, get out of the bed, clean the house, not disassociating from life, not talking to people. The depressed part, that was never ever ever me, and I never heard like the things Lindsay's experiencing here, so I could not even come close to imagining it. And then thinking, well, I should be better because they're telling me to take this. I should be better, and wondering why you're not better. And I'm going to the best hospital. I'm still not better. What the fuck? There's no hope for me, right? Bless her heart, y'all. That has got to be so hard. So he gives her the Valium, or Tuft gives her the Valium to taper the benzos. Tufts indicated that at some point we will add an antidepressant. Sure you will. On January 16th, 2023, Lindsay was still experiencing debilitating depression. She had to force herself to do anything. The hallucination continued. You should harm. God, that's going to make it sound like I'm telling folks to do that, guys. I can't say that term. She's hearing things telling her she should do things to her children, telling her what she should do to them. Y'all get it. You will never be the same, the hallucinations tell her. The only option is to delete. She felt like a zombie. Dr. Tufts prescribed amitriptyline, another antidepressant, at 10 milligrams per day. January 20th, 2023, because Lindsay was having such awful thoughts and was numb and emotionless, she researched what is a psychopath? Oh my God, to see if she was one and whether there was a cure. Is it a Google search for what is a psychopath and is there a cure? How Slung to Die in Snow? Oh my goodness. They got her thinking she's a psychopath now because she's like, I didn't get better with the medicine. Holy bless her. Oh my God, I'm trying to keep an open mind, y'all, but I'm leaning Team Lindsay. I don't even want to do team. No, that's disgusting. We don't do teams. What am I saying? I bought into the internet's bullshit. We support Lindsay Clancy at this point, even though I completely understand what she did to her children. So does her husband. He's got to live with it, not me. She's got to live with it, not me. I can try to understand it. So if I can recognize any of my friends ever going through this, I can offer all the support and help and advocacy I can possibly offer them. Fight tooth and nail for them and those babies who deserve it. Because this was a good mama who wanted to be a good mother. This ain't a fucking Lori Vallow, Susan Smith fucking situation. Ruth at the lake with the big giant fucking fish. Not the same situation. A working, smart woman with a career, a husband, 3 children, and a home, trying to make it in America. Being stuck on a drug cocktail that ruined her fucking life. My opinion. My armchair lady on the internet analysis. Holy smokes. Yeah, Carolina, well, the medications weren't working and all this, and now she's at a point to where, am I a psychopath? Right? Thinking all these crazy thoughts that I want to do, that I'm thinking about doing, and only a psychopath would do such things. Right? Not a fucking mother? And is there a cure? Oh, honey, there's no cure for psychopaths. But damn it. So, okay, it's 9 o'clock Central. God, we can still go for a little bit. We got more of this document to unpack. Hold on. Okay. Oh, goodness. Let me see what chat's saying. Take a break from reading for a second, guys. Right, Butterfly, I agree too. There's no justice for these children unless the docs are held accountable. This is disgusting. It is, it really is, because it's like, with all the reaching out and fighting she's trying to do for herself, she's trying to she's trying to fight for herself, right? And they're like, just wow. Pharma needs to stop paying these centers. They do. Studies, and not it's don't just study the side effects of your stupid drugs. Study what's causing these things, right? In the body, in the chemical brain makeup that triggers these emotions and these disorders, so to speak. You can't fix that with a manufactured medication, and they know that. But it became that big marketing thing here a long time ago, right? And there was a time when it was like a popular job to be like a drug rep for these companies. Just go around promoting all these new drugs, try this, give this out, give out these samples, right? And the next thing you know, America's relying solely on medications, completely and solely on medications for every single thing that a lot of times they're needed, right? We're talking about heart medications, blood pressure medications. I call those my keep me alive medicines. When I had to take, but I'll tell you this, when I needed blood pressure medication for the first time in my life, I suffered from low blood pressure my entire life. The first time I ever needed high blood pressure medication, after it got so high I had to go to the hospital, was because of these medications they were giving me. And then the blood pressure medication had its weird side effect. Guess who doesn't have the high blood pressure anymore? Me. I'm completely regulated since I stopped all pharmaceuticals several years ago. Still don't sleep a ton, but I sleep. It ain't like I'm suffering from lack of sleep. I've found a balance. I have found a balance, and I know how to relax myself and get there. It just takes a minute sometimes. That's why I sit in the backyard and decompress a lot. It helps me get there. Yeah, your foods, everything. I mean, wow, I can't say shit. I'd be caffeined out and say I can't sleep. But I have purposely not used caffeine for the longest time. And with being pregnant, the non-caffeine stuff, you know what I mean? Still, no sleep. I started experiencing insomnia before I ever had children. Since I was a little girl, my dad would go to the deer woods and go do my uncles and all that. My mom would stay up late at night and clean the house. The other 3 kids would be in bed. I was up all night with my mom. All my life, I was the night owl. So it didn't just start one day with trauma, I guess, or a triggering event. It was that way my entire life. That's just my walk, right? So I've learned to roll with it. And now we sleep when we fucking feel like it, and we stay awake when we feel like it. It is what it is. So if you see me live at 2 a.m., don't be surprised one time. Usually I'm like, nobody's else awake. I'm the only one awake, right? Nobody else is awake, right? That'd be stupid. Anyway. The mother begging for help, yeah. All these different medications too combined, like you said, that chemical cost, right? Um, they're mixing a lot of things here. They're trying different things. You usually got to let some of these medicines regulate, and it takes a while to find your happy place dosage, so to speak. If you find one that works for you, that you don't get the crazy side effects from, that means maybe it'll work for you. But it takes a minute to get that adjustment, right? Everybody's different. You can't stick all women on the same dosage. Every woman's different. Her chemical makeup is different. She may have autoimmune, she may not. She may have this. You get it? So they need to learn that. I don't know why I know that and they don't. It's triggering, Dr. John. Y'all are weird breed doctors. I question medical school. Maybe because maybe my ancestors taught me things. Propranolol. You know what? I like propranolol and I liked Ativan. Propranolol, to me, I couldn't tell I took it. It's a beta blocker. It's not it's a beta blocker, but it can be used for other things. And beta blockers for your heart. But anyway, because I had the thyroid issues, I was on propranolol for that reason. But it's also used for anxiety. So I noticed taking propranolol, that anxiety edge was not there. I don't take it anymore. I don't need it. But I noticed that about that medicine. But I've also noticed, I can't miss it, there's a trend That particular medication being prescribed now for anxiety, and young women are taking way too much of it, and it is a fucking beta blocker for your heart. I cannot stress that enough. I'm all not giving medical advice. I'm giving friend to friend advice. I'm not giving advice at all. Just keep in mind it's a beta blocker that can help with anxiety. And I can name 2 women, high profile right now, that have reported problems with that medication due to prescription for anxiety prescribed by doctors in California. I'm watching it. Don't think I'm not. Private eyes are watching you. Never know where they're at. On January 23rd, 2023, one day before she harms the kids, during another 17-minute appointment, Lindsay reported being a little more anxious with heart racing and more AM anxiety. More AM anxiety. AM like morning anxiety. Dr. Tufts recorded that Lindsay's mood is the same flat anxious, that she had no motivation, numb, and has to force herself up out of the house. Dr. Tufts, do you know she's got children to care for at the house? Not just coming to your office for 17 minutes. Her sleep and medication efficacy were poor. Her insight was poor, and her psychiatric condition generally was unchanged. Dr. Tufts increased amitriptyline to 20 milligrams per day. That night, Lindsay did not sleep. The night before, she did not sleep. Carolina, there's something to be said within that comment right there, hun. I thought to myself one time about something, and it's about, is there a reason why I don't sleep, right? What causes it, right? Because trust me, when you don't sleep, you fucking wonder why. What's wrong with me? Why can't I be like my sister and it's dark 30 and I'm out like a light? Why not? It's not fair. I'm tired. But is there an underlying reason that I've caused, right? I get you. I feel you. See? Self-awareness, Lauren, Megan. Go look in the bathroom sink and have a conversation with yourself occasionally and ask some questions. And clean up when you're done and pull up your big girl pants. Call a friend. Don't find comfort in a wine glass, though. Don't recommend it. It's not the answer. Yeah, Rachel experiences it in a different way, right? Because it does, Rachel, that's a whole other beast in itself. When you combine the insomnia with the pain, that quality of life is affected when you incorporate that, right? Quality of life, because it affects your everything, your mood the next day, your ability to move, you know? And pharmaceuticals can help with that as well, but it's not an answer, right? It's not fixing anything underlying. A lot of times that can't be fixed and we have to suffer through shit like that, unfortunately. But they may give you something to help with that pain and insomnia, Rachel, that's going to have an adverse reaction, right? That could just rock your fucking world because you're just trying to be pain free for the night and get a good night's rest, right? You pay the price for it in the long run. It's crazy. And then you got to be careful you don't get addicted to whatever they give you for that shit. Like, so, y'all. And they're opposed to safer alternative medications, right? Like CBD and THC and things of that nature. It's frowned upon by so many, but yet legal in so many states for medical purposes, including mine, Florida. Shout out. Let's do it. Anyway, y'all, I need to take a break from talking for a moment, go grab a water, let the dogs in, because we're about to go into the day of 2024, or January 24th. Hang on one second. Let me make an ow. Let me move this out of my way. I won't be talking as much tomorrow because we'll be doing the trial, but we will have the ability to pause, commentate, answer questions in the chat maybe, or respond to some of y'all. I can respond in chat to y'all. I'm going to be in chat the whole time we're covering the trial, and that's where I'll be communicating with you guys. I don't want to interrupt it a lot, but we can fast forward through all the stuff. And if something happens, we need to stop, we can. And plus, it protects the channel. If something happens live, I can kind of get ahead of it if I'm paying attention. So if I'm paying attention, so I got to focus. But anyway, yeah, I won't be talking as much anyway. My voice is not. A TENS machine works. It does. I mean, it helps a lot, right, Gates? Yeah. I remember that one time I put one on my roommate and turned it on. It was like a little portable one, and it was on too high. The intensity was too. Cause I like it intense, cause I gotta like, get down in there, right? She's not like that. It was on super like intensity. I turned it on. Oh my God, y'all! I did not mean to laugh at my friend, but it was funny. She took off running, and I was trying to chase her and to get it. Oh my God, I love her. I was screaming stop so I could turn it down for her, and she was just running through the house. Oh my God. I don't smoke mine anymore, Gate. I eat it. I chew it. I gummy. I like me gummies here in Florida. Medicinal. We have medicinal marijuana. I can say it out loud. In Florida, we fought hard to get it, and we got it. So it's legal here in Florida for medical purposes, and I qualify for the qualifying purposes. So I have just used my THC like I've done for 40 years. All right, so goodbye to the pharmaceuticals. Goodbye. I said good day. Just rolling with my gummies. All right, with that said, I probably need one of those and a bottle of water and to go get my dogs and smoke the rest of my cigarette. Can I play y'all a Simi song while I do that? It's just, she made me look, I felt left out. Trisha had a fancy AI song that one time I saw. And I was like, dang, I think it was Trisha. Am I mistaken? I think it was. And I said, oh man, I need one of them fancy AI songs. And my feral friend Simi said, I got you, girl. I got you. All right. I'm going to put this on loop and let it play here while I made the cheesy video, not Simi. Simi made the song. I did the cheesy video. We own our shit around here. Simi, thank you. I did the cheesy edits here, guys. I don't have a producer named Grayson or a producer named anything at all. Not even one without an E. Okay, it's just me and my mods. Me and my mods. All right, thank you, Simi Sharp. We're going to let her take it away. Guys, while I take a little intermission comfort break, if y'all don't mind, and then we'll get on with the rest of this document.
You want the truth? You're here for Salty Sleuth. Come on in, now take a seat. We're digging up the cold, hard truth. Salty's here to spit the facts. No fake stories, no backtrack. This is the no bullshit zone. Truth cuts deeper than a stone. The You want the truth? You know the root. Salty's got the facts, and the lies get called out. You want the truth? You're here for Salty Sleuth. Come on in, now take a seat. We're digging up the cold, hard truth. Salty's here to spit the facts. No fake stories, no backtrack. This is the no bullshit zone. Truth cuts deeper than a stone. The Salty crew stands side by side, sharp-eyed, smart, and along for the ride. Oh, Salty ain't gonna take your shit, calls it out and never quits. If you're stirring up drama, you're getting the boot, 'cause the mods keep watch with Salty Sleuth. Truth don't bend, truth don't stoop. Step out of line and they'll boop, boop, boop. You want the truth? You know the root. Salty's got the facts, and the lies get called out. You want the truth? You're here for Salty Sleuth. Come on in, now take a seat. We're digging up the cold, hard truth. Salty's here to spit the facts. No fake stories, no backtrack. This is the no bullshit zone. Truth cuts deeper than a stone. The Salty crew stands side by side, sharp-eyed, smart, and along for the ride. Oh, Salty ain't gonna take your shit, calls it out and never quits. If you're stirring up drama, you're getting the boot, 'cause the mods keep watch with Salty Sleuth. Truth don't bend, truth don't stoop. Step out of line and they'll boop, boop, boop. You want the truth? You know the root. Salty's got the facts, and the lies get called out. You want the truth? You're here for Salty Sleuth. Come on in, now take a seat. We're digging up the cold, hard truth.
Ah,
Salty's here to spit the facts. No fake stories, no backtrack.
thank you, Simi. We're gonna have to make a longer. You know what? I couldn't get that link to the second one to work still. So that was the first one, right? I don't have your second one. It won't work. But anyway, thank you. Y'all, when I went and got the dogs in, I put my phone on the table. Had this on my phone, and I laid the phone on the table and I was washing my hands. I turned around and my big dog was side-eyeing my phone. Simi, she was side-eyeing your song, ma'am. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're side-eyeing the phone. She's like, what the hell is this? You're usually talking about crazy people. Okay. Let me get that document back up. Did y'all enjoy her little tune? Isn't it cool? Yes, I think the second one she put cussing and discussing in the song, but my link is broke. My link is broke, Simi. It went feral. The link went feral, Simi. It got the woo-woo and ran amok. Oh wait, that's not what I needed to pull up. Duh. I gotta get my brain back. I gotta find my brain. Lauren, give me a second. Y'all, it's just fun to pretend like I'm talking to her. It's just fun. Let me have my moment. All right. Okay. We need page 17 back up here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start back on the 24th, guys, and we're going to tread lightly. Okay. So now we're at January 24th, 2023. Lindsay woke severely depressed with self-harming thoughts. She gave the children breakfast. She took Cora to the pediatrician because Cora complained of a stomach ache. So that morning, she takes Cora to the doctor. We had our chart, we had our visual up earlier with our timeline. So she takes Cora to the doctor for the stomach ache. Later, she went to the backyard with the children and built a snowman. Sent pictures to Patrick and her mother. So when she returned from the doctor's, the baby was, I guess, down for a nap or something, the little 8-month-old, and her and the other 2 children are going in the backyard, playing in the snow, building snowmen, and that is captured because she sent photos of that to her mother and to Patrick. The self-harm hallucinations continued all day nonstop. Later in the afternoon, the voice began saying, "You should do things." All right. Lindsay thought about dinner and realized she had not prepared anything. She asked Patrick about takeout. Apparently, she texted him. She looked at a map to see how long it would take because she did not want to be alone and needed help. Oh, because the prosecution is using that as intent, as premeditated. Because when she searched the restaurant, she immediately behind it searched how long it would take to get to that restaurant and back to her house. This is not her defense saying this. This is in the civil suit. Remember that. We learn more in civil filings usually than we do court criminal filings, right? If there's a civil litigation attached. So that's what the defense is going to say, y'all, to counteract what that prosecution pulls that out of their back pocket. But she sent him to a restaurant that was going to take him an hour, including the CVS stop, versus one closer to the house. So the prosecution is going to say, pattern of life, she don't normally go to that restaurant. It was further from her home, giving her more time, according to the prosecution. No, Caroline, we only have the good woo-woo over here. We do not do the bad woo-woo. No woo-woo. No woo-woo, no bugs. I'm in Florida. I can manage without the bugs in my house. It's not that hard. And if you realize you got an infestation, it may be time to move and leave all your shit there too and start over. I don't know. So they're going to say, okay, so she looked at the map to see how long it would take because she didn't want to be alone, needed help. So she's had a hard day, and like all day long, she's had these thoughts now, right? All day long, these thoughts are occurring in her head. As soon as Patrick left to pick up the food, there was a loud, demanding, repetitious voice. This is your last chance do this. Y'all can read that, right? Because I will get into trouble if I say that. It's like I'm telling people to go do that, right? And I can't have all that. This is your last chance. You have to harm and yourself. Lindsay felt a force come over her. Lindsay experienced command auditory hallucinations. A demanding, powerful male voice explicitly ordered her. She felt an overwhelming, irresistible compulsion to comply, entering a dissociative like dream state where her physical actions felt utterly disconnected from her conscious violation. She perceived her body was just acting and she was merely watching herself do it. I'll be curious. I'm interested to see what kind of experts the defense presents to talk about her mental health, as opposed to what the prosecution will present. She reported she had no choice but to follow these compelling directives. Lindsay described, I lost all control. My body started acting without any control on my part. I was just following commands, all action. This voice demanded action, she says. Lindsay proceeded to harm the children, uttering, "Go to God, baby." Following these acts, she undertook a severe unaliving attempt, ingesting a substantial quantity of various medications and self-inflicting lacerations and jumping from a second-floor window up for approximately 20 feet to the ground below. Remember, we went and viewed the house on the map, on the images that we saw, to see where that second-floor window was? On the side of the house. She suffered catastrophic injuries, including a thoracic spinal cord injury, resulting in permanent paralysis below the sternum. She also suffered multiple closed fractures of her cervical and thoracic, now I can't say it at all, vertebra, and multiple rib fractures. Cora passed on January 24th. Callan succumbed to his injuries on the January 27th. Cora and Dawson, I'm sorry, were both on the 24th. The baby, he survived till the 27th. Lindsay consistently maintains her actions were compelled by a hallucinatory voice, not a conscious decision, and expresses profound, enduring love for her children. This goes into expert psychiatric opinions. Oh, damn, my dog scared me. Dr. Margaret Spinelli, clinical professor of psychiatry at Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons, and founder of the women's program in psychiatry at Columbia University Medical College, it's a mouthful, conducted a comprehensive forensic psychiatric evaluation of Lindsay. Dr. Spinelli met with Lindsay for 5 hours. Hold on, I gotta close this door again. She sounds like a damn bear. Okay. She growls. Okay. So Dr. Spinelli meets with Lindsay for 5 hours at Tewksbury Psychiatric Hospital on June 11th of 2024, and subsequently spoke with her by telephone for 3 hours on September 6th of 2024. So after she hurts the kids. Have a good night for Butterfly. Thank you. We hope you have a great week. We miss you. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. It's a tough case, isn't it? All right. But unlike Lauren, we're trying to we sit in a healthier place, so we understand to compartmentalize, and y'all decompress afterwards, and don't take it to bed with you. Step away if you need to, and protect yourself. Protect your peace at all costs. Spinelli also interviewed Patrick Clancy, and Lindsay's sister Allison, Lindsay's mother Mrs. Musgrove, and Lindsay's mother-in-law Susan. Dr. Spinelli diagnosed Lindsay with bipolar disorder 1. There's a difference in different bipolar disorder diagnoses. Severe with psychosis and anxious distress and postpartum onset. Dr. Spinelli concluded that Lindsay had a baseline bipolar disorder with minimal symptoms after her second childbirth. At that, her symptoms worsened after the third birth. She was prescribed an antidepressant. Dr. Spinelli noted that an antidepressant medication can create manic and hypomanic symptoms and mood instability in one who has a bipolar illness. Dr. Spinelli, who are you? Okay. Yes, I agree, Caroline. The cocktail they had her on and the ongoing changing of medications and dosages is insane. Just to continue that cycle. Even when Patrick said, can we take her off this Seroquel and start over from scratch? What? No, we're not. We're going to just go home and continue the Seroquel instead. That's what he got. And look what happened to their children. I hope that doctor lost some sleep over that one. That's what I hope. That's my woo-woo. You're getting the woo-woo. Ask Trisha. It exists. By God, she did a scientific experiment with Stacy without an E. Tried to prove Stacy wrong, that was not a belly growl or a dog noise. By God, that was the woo-woo, Stacy, without an E. The fuck? You're no investigator, are you? Spinelli opined that the providers never seemed to communicate with one another. Why, it was obvious. Yes, sir, Dr. Spinelli, that no one ever asked her to describe the content of her intrusive thoughts, which were in fact hallucinations. The content of her thoughts. I have racing thoughts. What? Like you need to get up and clean the house kind of thoughts? Not enough hours in the day kind of thoughts? I got to go do dinner, baths, bedtime, make sure homework gets done kind of thoughts? What are we doing? Is the dog's been taken out, food, all the things? Did I go to the store today and get all that I needed for that other thing? All those kind of racing thoughts. Y'all just assume that's what women's racing thoughts are about, right? It's what more can I do and how much more time can I get to do it? And some of these women treat women. It's appalling. Like you, Dr. John. I pretend he's here too. Like keeping me company. I was told I was unhinged and unhealed. Spinelli specifically commented on the failures of multiple providers. Regarding the initial Zoloft reaction, she noted that if practitioners had recognized the hypomanic activation after the Zoloft, a second or third antidepressant would not have been tried. Regarding women and infants, she noted that Dr. Diaz, oh Lordy, get Dr. Diaz. I don't like Diaz. Get him, Spinelli. Did not review mood symptoms of last pregnancy and this postpartum period, and did not review the hypomanic episode immediately after delivery, which was the beginning of Ms. Clancy's postpartum psychosis. Spinelli concluded she did all that she could to obtain the appropriate treatment. Dr. Zeisel, a forensic psychologist, oh my God. Maybe I should not judge, right? Is that what's his name says he is? Something. Also conducted extensive clinical interviews with Lindsay and her parents. Dr. Zeisel was the initial forensic expert to engage Lindsay in the immediate aftermath of the incident. This is what John claims he does. That's what John does. The doctor concurred that the assessment of Spinelli and Resnick and Zeisel opined to a reasonable degree of psychological certainty that Miss Clancy's clinical course was significantly complicated by polypharmacy and the involvement of multiple prescribers, which in effect obscured an accurate diagnosis and appropriate intervention. Wait, does he study their probability to offend again? Is that what he does, actually? We don't really know what he does. Furthermore, the psychotropic medications she received appear to have paradoxically exacerbated her underlying psychiatric vulnerability, precipitating a state of manic psychosis characterized by compelling command hallucinations. Zeisel noted that Lindsay's parents conveyed profound shock and devastation at the depth of her psychological decompensation, indicating a prior lack of complete comprehension regarding the actual severity of her underlying illness. This underscores how the medical providers failed to adequately communicate the severity of Lindsay's condition or take appropriate action. The standard of care required defendants to obtain a complete psychiatric history, including detailed inquiry into Lindsay's moods and symptoms during and after her prior pregnancies. How many of the providers do so? Or how many of the providers done so, they would have learned of the hypomanic episodes that followed her. My dog was barking like someone's here. That was a different bark than her play bark. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay. It's all good. All right. Had any of the providers done so, they would have learned of her hypomanic episodes and the onset of her condition. Okay. The standard of care required defendants to recognize that Lindsay's severe adverse reaction to the Zoloft, characterized by activation, worsening insomnia, and her racing thoughts, was a red flag for bipolar disorder. The standard of care further required that after a second antidepressant, Prozac, caused similar activation, defendants should have diagnosed bipolar disorder and described a mood stabilizer rather than continuing to try antidepressants. The standard of care required defendants to conduct appropriate testing, including blood plasma levels of medication, to determine why Lindsay was having adverse reactions to relatively low doses of medication and whether she was a slow metabolizer. The standard of care required defendants to follow the start low and go slow principle when prescribing medications, particularly given Lindsay's demonstrated sensitivity to psychotropic medications. Instead, defendants added and accelerated medications in an ad hoc manner that radically increased the risk to Lindsay. That is true. Because they didn't do like a slow go kind of thing, right? Start low, go slow. They just kept like up in the ante and changing things instead of trying to get to the underlying cause of what was happening Wow. Yeah, for 17 minutes from various caregivers. You know, insurance only covers so much time with the doctor. They allot a certain amount of time for each patient. Don't think they're not mindful of how long they spend in that office visit with you guys. Notice how long you're in the doctor's office next time you go. Each time you go. Even if you got lots of questions, notice how you only got a certain amount of time. 15 minutes is the average. Payable by insurance. Doctors know that. So you might get a good 15 minutes with your guy or gal. Make sure y'all write them questions down and go in and hit that shit right off the bat. And they're going to look at you and be like, well, I'm the doctor, not you. What the hell? That's not what I asked you. I asked you something else, right? Yeah, it's weird. I have a love-hate relationship with doctors for a reason. Outside of mental health, a lot of reasons. All right. So the standard care required the defendants to inquire into the content of Lindsay's intrusive thoughts. There again, with the content of her thoughts. Like, what were the thoughts saying to you? What were they telling you? Now, the hotlines want a damn fucking plan. They could have at least asked her what the intrusive thoughts were saying, which were actually auditory hallucinations. How does a doctor distinguish between those, I wonder? Between an intrusive thought, is the auditory hallucination when it's telling you to do something? Otherwise, it's just an intrusive thought. I wonder what the actual clinical difference between those two are. Now, I'm reading it right here, but I wonder how doctors determine that, though. That intrigues me. Had they done so, they would have recognized the psychotic nature of her symptoms and the danger she posed to herself and to her children, including the danger of postpartum psychosis. Think about how many women are really legitimately suffer from postpartum and get this same drug cocktail, guys, while you're actively trying to take care of the baby. And in the end, you're left like Lindsay. So I'm a psychopath. They can't fix me. Wow. I knew slapping all them labels around all those years ago and ignoring what was really happening was going to be a fucking problem one day. See, Megan, the struggle's real. To be all-knowing. Girl. Y'all, I'm being a jackass to her. It's okay. If it's too much, y'all just let me know in the chat. Tell me to slow my roll and I will. I'm open to criticism. The standard of care required defendants to seek collateral information from Lindsay's family members who have provided crucial information about the severity of her condition. Yeah, they were the mother-in-law, the mother, they're all trying to help. Mom's coming into town to help take care of him. Mother-in-law's reaching out to professionals she knows. Gee whiz. Patrick's trying to take maternity leave with her and go into appointments with her and wanting to start over from scratch. Wow. They got a lawsuit here, guys. My opinion. This might shake the foundation of mental health in America, especially since it involves the top hospital, the top one in the country. Y'all, Alan Jackson, I bet he's salivating. The standard of care required the hospital to provide adequate inpatient care for Lindsay during her brief admission, proper evaluation of her condition, and ensure appropriate discharge planning, rather than discharge her after 5 days with limited insight and judgment back to the same providers who had been providing inadequate care. The standard of care required by women and infants to properly evaluate Lindsay and to obtain the adequate psychiatric history, including inquiry into early postpartum. So again, they outline why each individual facility is being sued, right? Here's your failure, here was your failure, and here was your failure. Anybody else want to line up for a failure today? Wow. The defendants knew or should have known that Lindsay presented a real, clear, and present danger. The defendants' collective failures to comply with standard of care, more likely than not directly and proximately caused the injuries suffered by Lindsay, including Lindsay's harm self attempt. Again, there's count one, y'all. In this case, I should say, negligence, medical malpractice, personal injury. And just it's just going through their failures here. Count two, loss of parental consortium. Plaintiff repeats and realleges all foregoing allegations. So same. Count three, loss of spousal consortium. Four, vicarious liability. And prayer for relief. They're asking the judge to consider the suit. Clancy, including her physical injuries, psychological trauma, loss of consortium with her children and her spouse, and all other damages permitted by law. That's page 27 of a 784-page document, guys. Wow. Oh. They probably got declarations from all the different. They got each individual facility, I wonder, a complaint and grand jury demand. This is an action of personal injury and loss of consortium brought by Lindsay Clancy. Lindsay did everything she could as a mother. Okay, that goes just that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Repetitive stuff within each document. I don't know what else is in here, guys, so we'll just kind of scroll through. And there's the facts for that particular declaration part of it. Again, it's going to go right through Lindsay's history again. So I wonder, let me see. If I can just jump through and, yeah, it's repeating itself with different, what's this one? Oh, did I confuse it? Okay, no. So this gets tough. See, they get listing everybody. So it's repetitive stuff within all the different documents. Okay. Not that it's repetitive, but it's kind of like copy and paste of everything, right? So I think we get I think we get it, guys, what that lawsuit is, right? I think we get it. Again, we do have this to refer back to when we need to throughout trial. I know it helps me visually keep up with things. A timeline leading up, starting in September of 22, when she began to have the anxiety, about returning to work and all that. So moves through the timeline there. With a list of some of the medications that she was on there is on there. And then, of course, the day of, right? Starting with going to the doctor with her daughter. And of course, the trial. So again, the trial starts tomorrow morning at, let me look at this. Who we got lined up here? And my mods will help me keep an eye for any David updates that might come popping off on Twitter or anywhere. While the trial's happening and we're doing breaks or whatever, we can check in on that situation. We'll monitor Brian Enton and Lauren Conlon on X. during breaks and see if we can get updates on what's happening in David's prelim tomorrow. All right, so yeah, Law and Crime has the Lindsay Clancy murder trial scheduled for in the morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. I plan to start at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, guys. So I'll be setting that show up tonight. It'll be later. I'm going to go chill and decompress in the backyard. But after that, late tonight, I will set up my show because that's just how I roll. But the notification will go out in plenty of time in the morning. You know what I mean? Y'all can look for it in the morning, whatever, start your notifications on, do all the thingies. Y'all know what to do's. I don't need to tell y'all. You got this. So like I said, I think I know Law and Crime Trials is airing the trial. Of course, Court TV will be, and I believe East Idaho News is as well. So I can check for the ones that have the best audio in the morning, because I don't want to struggle to hear. Get myself situated to be here at Forest. Do we have our trial groceries? I gotta go to get. I'm having some stuff picked up for me tomorrow. I don't want to go. I was lazy today. So I gotta get prepared. I gotta make sure my coffee station over here is good to go, and I got all me things squared away so I can focus. We haven't covered trial here in a while, guys. We've only done it. We did Lori Vallow and we did Karen Reed. That's the only trial experience we have around here, and it was a learning curve. It's long days, right? Because you're watching the trial. But I wanted to watch this trial, and I knew if I'm trying to live stream during the day with other stuff, I was not going to be able to keep up with what was going on in Clancy. So I decided we're gonna stream it. So here we are, and I appreciate all y'all who coming in and taking the time to learn about the case, right? And being open-minded to look at it. I mean, I was not very open-minded. I was a little, but I did not like what I was reading, right? So I'm basing how I felt on what I was reading. So, but I appreciate y'all coming in and checking the shows out with us. Again, we have the playlist. We did a primer part 1. This was basically part 2. Yet semi-trial snacks and trial groceries. I came up with the trial groceries during the Vallow, actually Karen Reed, because I still have a life and a family, and I got to eat dinner, right? So I had to make easy dinners and things that were going to be quick that I could, just what can I do? And like, oh shit, I had to get good at trial groceries is what I called it. Got to get them trial groceries. Plus, I got to eat lunch during the day while we're live streaming, but I can live stream and move around my house with my phone, right, while the trial's happening. So I will be in the chat keeping up with you guys. And we can fast forward through all the things that happen. We don't got to suffer through the OnlyFans. Do they got OnlyFans in her courtroom? We don't have to worry about it because we'll be ahead of the times. Maybe we'll live in the future on this one. But y'all can check out the playlist to check out these shows. If you missed this one or most of it or whatever, you can welcome to go back and check out the beginning. I also recommend that if y'all get the time, go check out Jay's stream from today. Because there was it was a very interesting stream. Her going through a Patreon that Lauren and John did. It was with Grayson. I hope Lily's okay. Those girls are probably still crying, and John's probably still trying to explain to them why they feel like they do. How it's all our fault somehow, and all those criminals that they cover, it's all their faults. It's not Lauren and Grayson's fault they feel some type of way right now. It's unhinged, unhealed women, and Jesus is not showing up for them and the victims, so they can't understand it. Maybe Megan can help them get there. All right, we'll let them be. We'll let them be to figure it out. We can't fix the world. Us empaths have boundaries, Megan. We know we can't fix some of y'all. All right, guys. Hey, Faye. Miss Jamie. Good to see you. All right, guys. Y'all go have a great night. Get some sleep. I'm going to go do the same thing. I'm going to go in the backyard and chill, do my thing. And then I'm going to set up for tomorrow and get some rest. My kind of rest. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. And if you can't make it, try to catch it on the replay. Thank you all for tuning in, and y'all have a great night. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you haven't yet. And catch y'all tomorrow.
Thank you.